Jožin s Pážin, močálem se plíží, Jožin s Pážin, kvesti.
Alrighty, I just got a copyright strike, but so why not? It's fun. I like that. I wish we could show all 15 seconds of that thing with
the memes
without getting nailed for it.
I'll redo it without the audio, and then screw them.
Hey, we could put our own music to it, and that would be awesome. Or me and Branch could just sing the damn song, right?
I
love that.
Yeah, but the song itself might get copyrighted, depending on how well you sing it.
It would not be well.
Well, no, but
so all day long I've been doing backstage work, mixing files, getting pages together. I want to do a comic book origins of Bushmaster, the Iron Fist number 15. I'm getting stuff together like that. I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man. Holy crap. It didn't suck. I've only read like the opening. It's the family together at breakfast. It didn't suck so far. So maybe it's going to be good. I don't know. I'm going to finish that up, and I've got a review video coming up for From the Long Box. And then I got a ding. Okay, Pete, they're talking on Twitter. What are you saying? And RDV's like, hey, we're doing a live stream. I forgot, dude. So I rustled up. What are we going to talk about? I've got Fire and Ice number 2 here. If we wanted to beat down that bitch, but then
why not?
I remembered Jason Aaron was announced for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a personal offense.
Whoa.
As I am a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So I went out looking, and instead of that, I just realized he's also taking over Superman, and he's got an interview. And there's at least one thing I want to talk about. But go on ahead, Vank.
I was just going to say, Brain told me that a lot of people like the Jason Aaron Superman issue.
Well, I'll check it out. Hey, you know what?
But
I would like nothing more, than to be proven wrong.
So my thing is, at the point of that, is a lot of people like Tom King, and then Tom King became Tom King. Yeah. so it's like these guys can start, but they don't know how to.
I am not a Jason Aaron fan. Yeah. I've read the Thor run. It
was okay. The God.
At best, it was okay. So
I wasn't crazy like Jimmy was. Jimmy's like, oh my gosh, it's the best ever.
Jimmy was big into that thing, man. So I was gonna go over the interview, see what we like, see what we don't like. I will absolutely I'll absolutely read the book, get a review out. Right now, tomorrow's reviews, and I know DC's coming out with new books like Wonder Woman and such tomorrow as well. But tomorrow's it'll be the Ultimate Spider-Man. Slay Them All, an independent graphic novel, Batman Gargoyles, and something else. I'm going to skip.
Wait, as in, are they actually doing a DC Gargoyles crossover?
No,
I will read the shit out of that.
No,
Batman Gotham Gargoyle is what it's actually called.
Okay.
And, so I'm going to have reviews for those plus whatever comes out. Because seriously, I'm just reading comics. I momentarily had more hope. I've got a comic book channel. I might as well read comics, right? Other than the old ones. I don't see.
Yeah, but I momentarily had more hope than I should have had. I got excited for a second because I know Dynamite is reprinting or is planning on reprinting the old Gargoyles comics that tied into the show. So I was momentarily too excited of like, wait, are they actually doing a DC Gargoyles crossover? That would be badass.
I'd be terrified.
Damn.
But this is another day where I only have until 10:30. So,
Well, if you have to leave, Bankman and I can always beat down Fire and Ice after we're done with the Jason Aaron thing. So.
I read the good Fire and Ice last night. Issue 19 of Justice League International.
I was thinking there's actually a Fire and Ice out right now. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, there's... I would wager that that Fable's creator, his version of Fire Ice based off of the movie is a lot better than the other one.
And since also we're talking about books, we're going to talk about books that like I hope are good, but I got one more before we get to the Jason Aaron stuff. This is from Bleeding Cool. Archie Andrews to be a serious superhero from Archie Comics in 2024.
Nice.
Okay, so Pure Heart is a character from Archie. I believe he started in the late 60s, early 70s. It says Archie Comics publisher John Goldwater has told Publishers Weekly that Archie Comics will release a comic series featuring Archie Andrews as a superhero, but in a fashion that is not tongue-in-cheek. He's a serious superhero. It's not the first time that Archie Andrews has been seen to don super tights, but it is a long time since anyone has been expected to take that seriously. Right.
It's Archie. You take away the tongue-in-cheek, it's not Archie.
Well, I mean, they've done like tone-shifted stuff in the Archie-verse before, though.
Yeah,
like
I was
the
about
Chilling
to
Adventures
get to
of
it.
Sabrina and so on and so forth.
I was about to
like,
get to that. It says the Dark Riverdale returns, Miracle Jughead. They have done this kind of thing before, but only with a comedy or campy tone. We have the Afterlife with Archies. It's an awesome freaking comic book series. It's a horror series. But Goldwater states that Archie is still greatly benefits from his placement at big box store. Okay, they're talking about this. I'm sorry. But point being is it has been, but changed tones, but it's in service of horror and everything. I'm wondering about, do I actually want to see a superhero Archie that's taken serious? Because we've got superhero books all over. We've got superheroes from Archie Comics. You know, let's get in some of those. Let's get the Shield going. Let's get some of the ones that have been buried and such like that. But Pure Heart is
then again,
I don't know.
Then again, the big two have buried the leads so much that maybe Archie dipping into the superhero side of things in the same way he dipped into horror would be a good thing.
Maybe.
I'm minorly optimistic about this, actually.
Oh, go on ahead, Bank.
They have done a series called Riverdale, didn't they? That was an updated version.
Did you see it? Riverdale was a TV series made by people who never knew Archie was a comic.
I'm talking about the actual comic book.
Oh yeah, it's actually based on the TV show. But the modern Archie is played more seriously than the past Archie. At one point in time, even Betty Cooper got into a car wreck, and it was, it's more like a soap opera than an old Archie.
Yeah.
I am a fan, by the way. I do like it, and I will still say Archie 1941, one of the greatest books you'll ever read. It's just that's one of the things, I'm hoping, it's just, will it just get lost in the shuffle? Will it just, it's one more on the rack,
It's like I said, it's just like, do we really need this? I mean,
Archie's always
been Archie's our escape from all the secrets crap that's at the other two.
Yeah.
We go there.
Go on ahead, Dalt.
But yeah, like I was saying, though, then again, the horror reduxes of Archie IPs have done really well, and Riverdale the show is really popular, whether you like it or not. So,
yeah.
And given that the main big two superhero brands are, crapping the bed as often as not, why not let Archie take a crack at it? I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess.
Okay, so MK is asking me which show is better, Riverdale or the newer Indian Archie. Indian Archie made my top 20 movies of last year. I don't even know should I put it on this year just so it could make it for this year, but it was just so fucking entertaining. And it amazes me that this Indian film captures Americana better than modern movies do at all. I mean, it is just a joy. It is entertaining. It's a musical, obviously. I mean, I could say Indian movie, and you just know that it's going to have a song in it somewhere. And I got to tell you, there is one dance sequence on roller skates. I don't know what it does. What about it does for me? But no, the Indian movie is absolutely worth watching. It's on Netflix. I recommend it. There you go.
The dance sequence comic with book roller movie, skates kids. Probably reminds you of Xanadu.
But it was.
I did like the first few seasons of Riverdale. I gotta say that. But then when they started going into the Dungeons and Dragons, or that role playing game where it's killing everybody, I was like, yeah, this is getting a little bit too dark. The point where you're losing the whole point of Archie. It's supposed to be happy. It's supposed to be, enjoyable.
I like that. I watched the first episode and was like, yep, this is a TV show made by people who never read an Archie comic at all.
Yeah.
I never watched the CW Riverdale, although I will say that social justiceisms aside, I did enjoy the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina from Netflix,
Actually,
which
I
is
did too.
supposedly in the same universe.
Yeah, we did
So
a review on that of that, and
ages ago, yeah.
But apparently, towards the end of the Riverdale series, the last 2 seasons were superhero stuff. Apparently,
interesting. CW, why not? But yeah, I do like the horror comics of Archie and such like that. I'm a fan of those. Vampironica and
I think they actually really understand when they do the horror aspects, for the Archie stuff, but superhero stuff, it's, I don't know, man. Like it's
well,
there's still some good stuff over at DC, Marvel, and independent stuff. So it's like Archie kind of like, we're gonna do a serious thing. I get like, what was wrong with the regular Pure Heart? Why do we gotta make it serious? That worries me.
Because for the same reason that the horror redos made sense. It's Archie is basically the comic book world's version of a blank slate, and because it's a blank slate, we can put all the other like notable comic book genres in it somewhere. We can add a horror version of Archie, we can have a superhero version of Archie, and so on and so forth. And again, especially when the big two are crapping the bed as often as they are not, why not let Archie take a crack at it? I guess I'm the cautiously optimistic one, which is odd, but yeah, I don't mind Archie like basically doing a self-aware riff of the comic book genre, and if that's or the other vectors within comic bookdom, and if the big two don't want to give us superheroes, why not let the kid take a crack at it?
Why not? All right, and of course, I pulled this out.
Point out that I would rather go back and read 90s Archie.
Oh, there you go. You got that's pretty good. I was gonna do the Archie Christmas specials for Christmas.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
I love
Christmas
Archie.
books. Christmas videos do not get views. I found out. Anywho,
unless it's a reading of Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone, I know, right? Wow. Okay, so anywho, Jason Aaron, we just announced that he was going to be on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and
for IDW, really?
Say again?
For IDW?
I think it is, but it's like
IDW owns the rights to it, so I mean, it's funny that they'd be kicking off the other writers.
Well, yeah, they figured, okay, they're gonna stop it. It was at 150 issues. Let's bring on some new people. It's Jason Aaron. I am not a fan of Jason Aaron. I just am not. I'm sorry, but the Thor he did was okay at best. Now I didn't mind his Star Wars run so much, so maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something to grab onto.
As long as they don't touch the Saturday Morning Adventures, which is basically the spitting image of the actual series.
Yeah, that's actually
pretty phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Saturday Morning. I mean, that's you guys. That's your
but the fact it hasn't been tainted at all. These are the guys who came off doing Ghostbusters for IDW.
Yeah,
so they actually have the passion for it. It's like having a Jeremy Adams on a cartoon book. I love it.
My opinions on Jason Aaron are kind of twofold. One, I've always maintained that his biggest problem is his ideas are too big for the characters or for the IPs he's given, because it very much seems like he wants to do a big universe-spanning event, but the companies won't actually give him the whole universe to play with. So he ends up cramming a universe-spanning event, or what should be a universe-spanning event, into one character's corner of the world instead of letting it have natural consequences. The other thing that I dislike about Jason Aaron is it very much seems like every story he tells is a version of the same story. Gore the God Butcher, Last Days of Magic, Unworthy Thor. All of it is this semi-nihilistic, well, the world is ending and blah, 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 blah.
So maybe in this one, Kang is going to get together with Shredder and they're going to run the world for
I'll just say one thing, is that as far as I've noticed that a lot of the times it's the editors for certain writers. Now, Jason Aaron, I don't know how much pull he has. He's able to tell what he wants to tell, or if the editors are basically telling what to write. So,
Okay.
I mean, that's possible too. I've just noticed there are a lot of reoccurring plot threads in his oeuvre that seem to recur over and over, because the God Butcher storyline was basically, and Last Days of Magic are basically identical versions of the same story, just told with different focus characters.
Let me get to this interview here, just so I can actually be honest with my thumbnail for once. I have not been recently. It's been mostly just, I just want to talk. Yeah. So anywho, I did see this on Bleeding Fool. I had to look, guys. There's nothing going on. Nothing going on. I was like, okay, let's see what's going on in the world of comics. Yeah, freaking EVS and Yellow Flash are fighting. I don't give a. Okay, so let's go. I was willing to do something yesterday, but I got talked out of it in a very intelligent way by RDV and Captain Frugal. So it goes on to say, is anyone familiar with Aaron's Thor run could guess that can mean, this is talking about him doing Superman. He'll write up metaphors for liberal feminist nonsense and even making the Man of Steel look less heroic as a man, and even making Lois Lane less sexy, though that's possibly already occurred under writers of the past decade. And well, in all honesty, except for the Bendis run, I haven't had a problem too much. It's when they call Jonathan Kent Superman and write him like shit that I had a problem with it.
Yeah, it's not only the writers, it's all the artists. Remember when we had the Italian artists and how they draw women?
You gotta give names, dude. I'm not really.
What the name of the guy? I had the Superwoman here.
Superwoman. That's the new 52 stuff. So he goes on to say, I'm a huge Bizarro fan.
Ignacio Noé.
Okay. Go on ahead.
Ignacio Noé. He's Italian.
I have no idea who that is.
Manara.
I have no idea.
Okay, so the interviewer says, I'm a huge Bizarro fan, so I love that you chose him as the antagonist for this story. I don't want to be too spoilerly, but Bizarro allows you to capitalize on his nature as Superman's total opposite in a new way that hinges on how they both interact with the concept of magic. How did you dial in on, dude? Who's got the cat?
That's
somebody with the cat mute.
Dude, you got it. Yeah, you got to mute the cat, dude. How did you dial in on that as the key to Superman and Bizarro's relationship? He says it was really just about exploring, what is the nature of Bizarro. Like, there have been different versions of Bizarro over the year. The one I'm using here is the one who comes from Bizarro World. This planet of other Bizarros like him, so all we know about him is that he's meant to be Superman's doppelganger. Fuck a donkey. Okay, I'm already over it. Okay, this is a problem I've been having with modern comics. All right? We have established in this continuity who Bizarro was. Now, if you want to announce to us straight up that this Superman takes place in Golden Age, then fucking say that. Don't say it's all continuity and then you know this thing from Golden Age? Go. And look, I would prefer they just bounce before New 52. But you
can't have it both ways.
Too many freaking comic books are written by people who have only read comics. And only read comics from 2013 and up. That's one of the big problems. I'm sorry, but there is something people who read comics love, and that's continuity. Now, if you're not gonna give us before New 52, then you got to go with a goddamn continuity from here to there. And the Bizarro planet wasn't part of it, except for in this one little. We're gonna do this funny little mini series off to the side. Jesus freaking Christ. You can't we're going to do this thing that we haven't done for 80 fucking years. Well, not really. It's
more
like 45, 50, but still.
Yeah.
Guess he wants to change it to fit current only. And yeah.
I'm all for revisiting Bizarro World Bizarro, because I don't even like necessarily, clone Bizarro very much at all. But I don't. One, I don't know where exactly Jason Aaron is going to go with it. And two, someone said something about Superman's vulnerability to magic there. And I'm all for magic being involved in as many things as possible. But it shows a lack of ability to engage with the character as the character rather than what I want the character to be.
You know what I think is something that no Superman writer gets right is that he's vulnerable to magic. That doesn't mean he's weakened by it or it knocks him out like kryptonite. A lot of people, it's like the smallest of magic can hurt. I mean, you could do a card trick and knock Superman out. You know, it's not that. It can hurt them. It doesn't mean he's got a kryptonite-like weakness to it. That's been the way it's been treated.
Yeah, the way I always understood it was because Superman's powers come from yellow sun radiation and magic is outside of the scientific wheelhouse. Its effects affect him in the same way any other. Like, for example, if you conjured up a mystical fireball, it would affect Superman in the way a normal fireball would affect a normal human. And this is one of the things that always bugged me about the writers not dealing with this issue at some point, because by the logic of anything that is done to him with magic affects Superman the way it would affect a normal person if it were just normal. Then why doesn't Superman avail himself of any of the 5 people he knows that are really good at magic and get himself a protection spell from it? Because that would be my solution to this issue. It's just okay, Superman knows he is vulnerable to magic. He knows 5 people who are good at magic and who probably owe him 5 solids. So why doesn't he get somebody to show him how to put a protection spell on himself? Which I understand for the sake of the integrity of the character, you probably couldn't have him do that.
Find that period, dude.
But you could very easily have one of them put a protection spell on him, and it would solve this issue.
So it goes on to say, but what else does it really mean to be Superman's opposite? And yeah, the relationship to magic became a big part of that, and they kind of opened the door for Bizarro to strike at Superman in a way that when did Bizarro become magic? Punching each other to something much darker and more twisted and more difficult for Superman to deal with. All right. Now, this sounds fishy. Aaron could be elevating villain to higher emphasis than need be. As I've noticed before, spotlights on villainy include the dangers of glamorizing violent criminals has become a serious problem in this day and age. What's in discussion here vaguely reminds me of J. Michael Straczynski's claim he wanted to get inside Spider-Man's head and Captain America's too, and we've seen how far that got. Now, Aaron wants to get inside the head of a villain. That's easily worse. And Aaron's take on magic is bound to be ruined by politics. Well, okay, now here's the thing. And Moran, you called this out too. He's saying it's bound to be. That's I think it's going to be.
Inevitable, yeah. It's not inevitable.
The preemptive hating is what Moranya said. The issue's out. Read it, find out for yourself.
Right. That being said, I will point out something about Jason Aaron's tendencies that I've noticed that this might be indicative of, which is Jason Aaron, I think, isn't kind of the same corner as me in that he likes mystical, weird, and or cosmic stuff.
Okay.
But this is him bringing that to the forefront of a character who isn't a magic-based character.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering why are you talking about magic with Bizarro? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I would say this Superman is anti-magic, but Bizarro is also not magic, which is with a smart editor would put him in the Dr. Fate or the Spectre or any of the magic characters, but Superman?
I want to point out something that Mark Waid of all people did in his current issue of World's Finest.
Yeah.
It was Shazam. Shazam was he comes across a Bizarro version of Shazam. So
Captain Marvel, not Shazam? Bring back Captain.
All right, I've got to.
Can I
let RDV say what he needs to say, guys.
I was just going to point out that in that issue, Billy basically, using the wisdom of Solomon, says, well, if you're my opposite, then you'd be stupid, you'd be weak, and pretty much beat him within 5 seconds. And they found out that later on that it's actually Felix Faust created a magic version of Bizarro. It wasn't a real Bizarro, but still, the point is, wouldn't that work with Superman 2? Well, you're not smart as me. You're the opposite, right?
Maybe.
Well,
that's why I hate Bizarro. They're opposite. So if Superman's strong, he should be weak as a kid.
All right, so let's see. I think I read a quote from you. Said the interviewer, you said you drew inspiration from Superman stories of the 50s when Superman encounters some circumstance that totally changes his life and has to navigate that back to status quo. I picked up on that right away because everything about Action Comics 1061, or just issue number 61 as it is, has that very elemental essence of Superman the same way those Silver Age stories do. What were your biggest touchstones and how you found your voice? Says, yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely, says Jason Aaron. I don't know if I went into it consciously knowing this is what I'm going for, but I think what you're saying fits exactly how I see those Superman stories after, 40 years of reading them. He goes on to say, I learned to read from the first issue of World's Finest I picked up. I kind of learned blah, blah, blah. Like I said, those Alan Moore issues right before Crisis itself was a big book for me. And then John Byrne stuff came after that. And, there's some John Byrne stuff that I look back now and I don't necessarily agree with all the choices he made, but I was really swept away. Why is everybody off on John Byrne? He was like that was the best in run. And people are off on it now. I don't get it.
That's because they're jealous. They hate the fact this guy took away from Silver Age, made him all his parents being alive, him actually being a responsible adult. He actually had limits. He wasn't like had all this unlimited Kryptonian superpowers that came out of nowhere. So, and of course, they're all gonna be jealous because John Byrne did the one thing these guys can't do. John Byrne changed the character, redefined it for 30 years.
Humanized.
Well, it's not just petty emotional jealousy. I think what we're seeing here is a clash of artistic worldviews. They think art is supposed to be about subversion and undermining and deconstruction and blah and blah and blah. And meanwhile, John Byrne is just like, how can I maximize the potential of this character? I know I'll do this. And I think that more than just simple jealousy is the problem. They have completely contradictory artistic worldviews, and that makes them hate him because he was successful, whereas every time they do a deconstruction, it fails horribly.
Yes, Black Cat's completely correct. That's how many art writers who I know understand what they're doing. And every time, even children book, they want to deconstruct or subvert things. And then someone comes with a good way of writing this, not subverting, but building up. They are very jealous of them. And that's why, like, they hate manga also. You see, like, Nanatsu no Taizai, the Seven Deadly Sins, they really envy this. They don't like this. And there are Arthurian basic knighting things.
All right. First of all, hello to Zach.
You mistook me for Evil Black Cat there. Sorry.
Hello to Zach.
Oh,
what's up?
Sorry.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys?
No, you're breathing into your mic.
Oh, am I? Sorry about that.
How dare Cartoon Comics insult Evil Black Cat like that, Mike?
Right. So he goes on to talk about All-Star Superman, that he liked some of Grant Morrison's choices in the book, the way they did Bizarro in that. And it says, and then, of course, Mark Waid Superman stories like Kingdom Come. They didn't really have the Bizarro in that, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating too much. You mentioned Crisis on Infinite Earths, also All-Star Superman version of Bizarro, which is interesting because the plot of this story and Bizarro's involvement in it kind of hinge on the multiverse. Okay, DC's changing multiverse in a very tangible way. How do you approach a character like Superman who's had all these distinctly separate mainstream incarnations that all count, except for why? No one, and this is part of the reason why, I'm just going to shut this down. Let's go to a regular conversation here. We got enough people. But I will say this. Why would you ever say every version counts? If you're going to have, like when they did the Earth 1, Earth 2, okay, JSA was in its own place. So JSA had its own problems, set of villains, so forth and so on. You can't do a one narrative freaking Superman book where everything is on the table. It doesn't work. It confuses. It makes everything convoluted. It is absolutely. And I don't know. I'm also over the multiverse.
You wanna know the reason why they want everything to simultaneously both count and not count? It's so they can pick and choose what lore they want in the moment and simultaneously destabilize the continuity. They actually want to destabilize the continuity. Because
You-
the more nebulous and open-ended they can make the standards, the easier it is to pass off whatever bullshit they want to do in the moment or in that one particular story as, well, what do you mean there's a defined canon as to who Superman is? He acts completely differently in 5 different incarnations, so this has always been open-ended and uncertain. How dare you try to close it?
I saw somebody else talking about, I forget what character it was, but it was like, well, in the Golden Age, you talking about in the Golden Age? Okay, in the Golden, why don't we put guns in Batman's hand?
Hawkman was better in Golden Age than he is in current DC or Silver.
Okay, I agree with that to a certain extent, but once again, why not put guns in the hand of Batman and let him start shooting people?
Because
that's
60
why not?
years
It's in the
of
Golden
continuity.
Age. But they're ignoring all the other continuity.
Yeah, they really don't care. I don't think they give a damn anymore. The editors certainly don't give a damn anymore.
Actually,
let me ask you guys,
why haven't they done it though? Because nothing matters.
If nothing matters, right? Let me ask you guys a question. When looking for something to talk about, obviously the controversy wins. It's the one that gets views. So I occasionally stop by Actual Fandom and Chaos Theory, whatever they're called. I don't know. And I saw they call themselves Actual Fandom. Of course, we're anti-fans because we don't like everything. How can you be a fan of a character if you are willing to let a writer do anything to the character?
That's like saying you're a good parent because you don't discipline your child.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. If you're making a character that is outside the boundaries of what that character is, you're not a fan of the character.
I can easily answer for you. You're a bigot because you don't understand it.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Well, but the actual reasoning they will give is that they want Superman or any given character to not be an entity with defined boundaries. They want the character to be an idea.
Just a comic book character. Why do you care so much?
Yeah, they want the character to be an idea because ideas they can weaponize and they can justify in their own heads. Well, if the political landscape of reality changes, if culture changes, then what that character represents to the world must therefore also change, which means that we can use them to do whatever we want.
And also do not forget how lazy these people are.
Okay, they're lazy. All right, Venkman.
And also, if it's really just a comic,
you know
book,
what?
Are you?
I found a mutant button for Zach.
Womp.
All right,
hold on, guys. Venkman, what were you gonna say, dude? And then we'll go to Zach there. So,
I was just gonna say that that whole argument saying you just said it's just a comic book character. Why does it matter? Then I used to say, well, why are you upset about Avengers 200? Why are you upset about Karen being in the bathing suit? Why? Yeah. Why,
if it doesn't matter enough to keep the same, why are you so obsessed with changing?
Don't give me that argument. Oh, your wife's upset. It's just a comic book character. I turn right back up, and then also they're like, oh, "How dare you say that to me?" It's like, well, you're the idiot that said it in the first place.
The reason they commit that hypocrisy is because they genuinely think their idea is the one true correct idea. They do not see an equivalency between
what do you have
them.
to say?
Aaron, just start muting people. That's all I'm going to start.
They're the right side of history, after all.
You now have 3 different names there, cartoon and comics.
Let's put the names back.
Zach, what did you have to say?
Venkman kind of stole my thunder there, so I withdraw.
There we go. Now we have names out.
I'm trying to keep everything going because, as Undead Quinn is saying, one at a time, guys, please. How you doing, Alpha Eagle? Right on. What's the point of not having guidelines? It actually makes the writers more. They have to be more imaginative to come up with things. I am and have read the Marvel Universe. I've got the who's who, and they talk about their power limits and their character, who they are, what they're all about, and it seems like it doesn't care. The core of the characters are gone. Right now, they're doing this to Batman. That whole Gotham War thing was a deconstruction deconstruction of Batman. It's been a continuous deconstruction since Future World or whatever they were calling it. We have not seen Bruce Wayne now in 5 years. We haven't. I'll say it again. We haven't seen Steve Rogers in comics since he got shot in the head in the mid 2000s. They have decided just mess up character after character with deconstruction. Go on ahead, Vank.
Are you reading the current Captain America?
Oh, has he returned?
I think he has, not fully, but
Yeah.
I mean it's a step in the right direction.
I'll check it out.
The Straczynski run is pretty good from what I read of it.
Yeah, after 20 miles away from the right direction, one step.
Yeah, that's true. One step forward, 2 steps back.
Look at this. Going back to the Ultimate Spider-Man thing, that came out, and that was a phenomenal first issue. Some people didn't like it because, well, it was really focused on Ben Parker and all that stuff. It's like, for me personally, I was hesitant because I know that's the black pill forming me from hanging out with LK too much. Well, it might be great, and then guess what? He just decides to leave the comic book, or Marvel
Bait
doesn't
and
like
switch.
the fact, Marvel doesn't like the fact that it's making too much it's getting too popular, and no one's buying Zeb Wells crap.
Yeah, we can't encourage the actual fans because that might make them think they matter to us.
Well, it does seem like, as the black pills would probably say, and I think I've actually said this more than once, it does seem like they're doing things just because fuck you. Seriously.
Because of spite.
Yeah. You because the wrong people don't like it. If we were leftists and we were shouting this and going, "Oh no," maybe they would listen.
It's just my personal doubt, seeing what Hickman did with the X-Men and he left. I don't know if he was forced out or if he left willingly. I don't want that situation again with this book, because I could actually read Spider-Man without being a throwback, retcon, or not retcon, but in between. I just said I just wanted to know I go in there every week and not worry about it being canceled.
It honestly feels like gaslighting, where if you actually enjoy something for 5 seconds, they're about to take it away from you. Whereas if you don't like something, then they'll keep it going forever. It's literal psychological torture. You like something, I'm going to take it away from you. I'm going to rip it away from you. But if you don't like something, I'm going to double down on it until it's overly painful.
Look at Transformers. Daniel Warren Johnson's writing it now, but he's not. But he's also doing the art. But after issue 7, he's not doing the art anymore. So is that going to change the quality?
That's after issue 6. After issue 6, he's not doing the art anymore.
But yeah, my point is, it's like
he's still doing the writing, and the new artist. He's actually really psyched to be working with the new artist they have. I forgot his name, Jason something, I think.
I don't know, but it's just like, I don't know. It's the point where we should be at this. We should be able to just go pick up a book, not have to worry about it, and I guess you could say you can blame the writers, but you can also blame social media, because social media tells us.
I was about to say you could definitely blame social media for that, because when I was reading comics, I was reading a half dozen Bendis books. I didn't give a rip about anything because I wasn't on Twitter seeing all the drama.
Yep.
So I definitely blame social media.
Okay,
but we can blame the other part. I want to ask you guys, how much do you think the current comic books crisis caused by the weak editorial we have and the political editorial we have? Because right now they don't feel like professionals. They feel like more propagandists from political parties or academia. They don't feel like a professional. They're not, stoic enough to say, "Hey, no, don't do this to this character."
Okay, I'll answer this one because this is what I've made a career of here. So this all started in 2013 with All New, All Different. It's they at some point in time have decided people who aren't going to follow them aren't going to be a part of the books. Now, not completely. You still had EVS on Green Lantern and so forth, so on, that kind of thing. But slowly over time, well, they don't believe this. We got to get rid of them. Warren Ellison winked at me 30 years ago. You got to get rid of them. And slowly, everybody who was worth a damn found themselves in a situation where they are either kicked out, or they're going to be based on how they vote, what they think, and the fact that they might want not to kill a baby in the womb. And so they found themselves with a need to find talent, but they also found themselves with a dying medium, or at least a slowing medium. Now they'll say, of course, no, it's never been better, because they add manga, they add Captain Underpants, and what's the new
Dogman? I think it's
Bon
Dogman.
Destiny.
Yeah, Dogman. They add those numbers and they say, we're doing better than ever. No, you're not.
No.
We know this because we see comic book shops. We know this because I've got a chat every time we do a live stream.
CBR.
We know that this is not doing well. And yeah, by the way, the former news channels are actually starting to talk about the fact that, look, the comic, you're freaking Nero on a burning, is Rome burned.
Who are you going to believe? Our political narrative or your lying eyes?
But the thing is, this started along with that. And the talent that they brought in was straight up in leftist activists from the 4chans and Twitters and all that shit.
Oh, no. No 4chan. They would never.
Dude, I just said something. I'm too old to really keep up with that shit. Go on ahead, RDV.
I was going to say, it's funny because I remember last year, when it comes to whole second printing issues, I mean, it must be a really great book if it's popular, if it's getting a second printing or third printing. Remember when I got yelled at because Berserker wasn't my whatever issue it wasn't my number one book of the week for the best of the week, and I was like, really, bro? He's like, well, it's got the second, it's like it must be really popular. It sold a lot of issues. I'm thinking, like,
Berserker issue number one wasn't good.
Look at Ultimate Spider-Man, CBR's on there again. Whoa, it's out for second printing. They all are designed that way. They print lower numbers to make it look like it sold a lot and sold out.
Did they print lower numbers? Do you know that? Because my LCS had like 200 issues, not including variants, and they sold.
That depends on your local
numbers.
comic book shop. I go to a huge comic book shop, so they have a ton of everything. But that doesn't mean that every shop is going to have that.
He bought 20 issues, 20 copies because it's number one.
I'll tell you what. I said it during the review. I'll say it again. I just said it a little bit ago. Berserker number one was a horrible comic. And let me explain why. Because it is almost 22 pages of this one guy bloodily killing other people. Now, we assume he's Berserk. And the only reason why we think he's a good guy is his name's on the cover. But for 20 issues, we're not given motivation. We're not giving characterization. It's like straight up. I'm going to go, okay, should I be caring about? Most of it's wordless. So it's like, okay, I paid how much for this comic? Oh, here's 3 words on the last page. Boom. Yeah, it was a horrible book. All right. So let me see what we got. Let's see. I'm tired of people creatively misinterpreting the news into clickbait outrage videos. The Transformer news regarding Daniel Warren Johnson is the latest in this trend. I don't know. I don't
see that would be part of Transformers the news. I mean, I personally would be saying it's gonna suck. West did put on a video about it, but he wasn't saying, oh, it's gonna be horrible. He said it's like the art's should be decent, but he did notice. But he's
seen the new artists.
But he did say this, and I agree with him on this. Is that everybody's there buying it for Daniel Warren Johnson's art because his art is amazing on this book. It's metal.
But the art is also the part that's been stressing him out a lot because if you read the interviews, he's been having to redraw stuff to stay in lock with Hasbro and their like what they want on page. So I could see where he might be wanting to pass that job off to another artist instead.
I can see both ways. I understand that, but I was just saying, like, because a lot of people are buying it for the art and the story. You take away half of that might kill sales.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, but the new art, for what I saw here, it's solid.
One at a time, guys.
The Transformer book.
I'm going to assume that Cartoon and Comics can't hear us as well as we can hear him.
I assume so.
Say again?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, well, the reason why is because sometimes you're jumping on someone. But that's fine. Please, I'll tell you what, Cartoon, repeat what you were just saying, and then Zach, you go after, okay?
About the solid, the new art for the Transformer comic is, for what you hear, is very solid.
Okay. How about you, Zach? What were you saying?
No, I was just saying how I don't think the change in artist will really hurt anything because it still has Daniel Warren Johnson's name on the story, on the writing, which has been a very big part of why I think people have been connecting with it and loving it. And it still has the Skybound name. It still has the Energon universe connectivity to everything else. So I don't think it'll hurt sales too much.
Okay. Let's see. Alpha Eagle saying it's strange how the writers are happy when they piss off the right people. You'd think they'd want to try and make as many people as happy as possible. Republicans buy shoes. Yes.
Because, Eagle, they don't actually like comics or like capitalism. They're not in it for making money. They see art as a political and moral weapon. Primarily.
Or they're just there to get in with Hollywood and get a screenwriting gig.
Yeah.
Which most of Hollywood is
Vank.
super liberal anyway.
I'm just raising my hand like Eric does now. That's how we get called on to the teacher.
Sorry, do you not like this when it happens to you?
No. I'm trying to be polite here and not talk over you.
Okay,
we've changed places. We've pulled a Freaky Friday.
Zach, I'm being nice to you for the whole entire year.
Go on, Venkman.
All right. So as far as I want to disagree as far as the whole thing with the Daniel Warren Johnson, what Zach said about the whole art not being impactful. Daniel Warren Johnson, my person, I love the fact he's putting wrestling into the next week. You're seeing German suplex, power bombs, Optimus Prime destroying. The fact that when he ripped his arm was down, ripped it up, beat it. That's straight up from an anime. That's straight up from Mobile Suit Gundam. There was the 84th Strike, whatever team was, where they actually did that. And it's like I said, I know, so you might not get the same battle scenes.
Well, moving on a little bit. Okay.
What Gundam? Thunderbolt?
It's whataboutism. We don't know one way or the other, so I'm not really gonna.
Zach, turn your
I
camera
don't have
on.
a lot to say one way or the other. I'm not on camera right now.
So Undead Quinn is kind of disappointing me. One of the books I have ready to go for a read and review is Zorro, Man of the Dead. I am a Zorro fan. Give me Zorro. Give me Shadow. Give me Green Hornet, the Phantom. I like those characters. So when I see a book, I'm grabbing it. Zorro, Man of the Dead was bait and switch. It felt like he tried to pander to both readers, and it was just a middle-of-the-road book, says Undead Quinn. Hopefully I find something a little bit more. Yikes. Zach is eating a snack he almost always has on cam. Is it yummy?
I'm not eating a snack. I'm doing laundry. And
Wait, I'm going to disappoint you, old man, real now. Did you hear about the feminist new Zorro show?
I did not.
There's gonna be a new feminist Zorro show from the guys who did La Casa de Papel, and will be focused on colonialism and toxic masculinity.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it.
How sad I am.
To that, I say go watch Queen of Swords. They used to be on WB.
I have never heard Eeyore with a Spanish accent there.
I know, right?
How sad I am.
that I say, go watch The Mask of Zorro with Antonio Banderas. Still,
Yeah.
You know what?
Still a fantastic movie.
I like
all these
both
years
of them.
later.
One of them is weaker than the other. Mask of Zorro is one of the greatest movies of the 90s.
Yes.
But,
Legend of Zorro.
The Queen of
All right.
Swords was actually pretty good. It wasn't like anti-male and stuff. As you said, that they did a female version of Zorro, and this was back in WB before it came to CW, and it actually was a good show.
Well, didn't they have what was her name, Lady Rawhide, in the Topps comics?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this Lady Zorro is tied into the actual Zorro comic books, or if they decided just to do it because Wound Power. But when I watched it, I didn't get it. It's like, where she was basically like, a Mary Sue, like crap.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but this is also like early 2000s when Relic Hunter was on.
That can end it. I have been getting my my fill of, I guess, feminism or whatever. I discovered a show called Orange is the New Black.
Oh dear.
It is actually pretty good.
What year are you in, sir?
I know, right? I never watched it before. I just figured it would be some woke nonsense, and I was like,
I never watched it before, but I heard it at least.
And then I was just going through Netflix. I was like, what the hell is this all about? Let me turn it on, and I put on the first episode.
Honestly,
easy watch. Yeah.
Why haven't we got a return of the Gay Blade of Zorro?
The Zorro the Gay Blade from
Why isn't that getting reboots?
I have not seen that since the 80s. I loved it when I was a kid. I have a feeling it will not hold up. 2 bits, 4 bits, 8 bits a dollar, all for Zorro. Stand up and holler. Yeah. There are 1980s gay neighbor characters on TV shows that were less offensive than that.
It's Mel Brooks, if I remember.
No.
Well.
That was not Mel Brooks. But that was what that was. It was so bad. Oh, we were roommates. No, shut up. All right. Ever seen Man's Best Friend? But yeah, I did. The robot dog from the 1990s. Yeah, I saw that. It was okay. I was a projectionist at the time. Let's see. I loved that Zorro movie. Catherine Zeta-Jones was very hot. Yeah, so hot that Dalton had a crush on her.
How about a new female Zorro, but Selma Hayek?
I would watch Selma Hayek just sit. She does not have to do a damn thing for me to watch an hour and a half of it.
Yep.
That is, yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I could listen to her read an
Salma
encyclopedia.
Hayek.
Dude, you just turned this show more creepy than it ever had right to be. It is absolutely.
The Spanish accent isn't helping, actually.
That's what my uncle calls her.
Dude, I think that you need to watch out. There's a TV host waiting for you in your kitchen.
Oh, Selma Hayek. Oh, yeah, it's like Camp Sailor.
Like earlier when he was depressed, he reminded me of Slowpoke Rodriguez, and now I don't even want to think of what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
Freddie Hillary.
I think we now know who's getting those kids to cross the border. Okay, so One Slick is saying, actually, I prefer the original Zorro with Guy Williams. That's on Disney Plus. I've been watching that also. It is incredible. I love the Guy Williams Zorro. That is so much fun. What are the best 1960s Marvel runs, says James, and what are the worst 1960s Marvel runs? 1960s Marvel run, I would have to go old school Galactus story. That's the easiest to mention too, I guess. But yeah, I think that would be incredible. How about you guys have a Marvel run from the 1960s that you would say is the best?
Me, Smartman. I can't.
I don't read enough 60s Marvel to have an opinion. Get to
Zach,
the 70s, 80s, 90s.
I don't care about Fantastic Four.
Hickman blows Ryan North out of the same ballpark that he blows
Excuse me?
Mark Waid out
Crazy.
of.
He likes to blow people. I don't know what he's saying here.
The only one from Marvel is Captain America. So Captain America.
Excuse me. What were you saying, Dalton?
Wasn't the original Tomb of Dracula a 60s book?
No, that's 70s.
Oh.
Yeah. The problem with finding a run from 1960s is that there weren't too many of them. So I mean, not that was multiple issue stories. So
not a run as we would now define it. No,
right.
That's why I was having such a hard time thinking, because I'm like, well, no, Tomb of Dracula was too late. So was Werewolf by Night. So was the Elric adaptation. God damn it.
Yeah, when did Hulk get his own actual? We got a magazine run first, right? Because he was in Tales of Suspense or Astonish first. Trying to think when the Incredible Hulk got his because he actually had like a 6-issue thing and then get canceled.
Well, yeah, the first, I think it was 5. Yeah, 6 issues. Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, the first 6 issues was canceled. He wasn't selling, so they put him in.
You'd say that's the worst run, I guess.
But it wasn't just because of that, and it's not a run. It's a whole bunch of individual stories.
Yeah.
But one of the problems, it's not necessarily a quality thing, as is the DC Comics became the distributor for Marvel, and they limited them to like 8 books. So that's why you had stuff like Tales to Astonish having 2 characters and suspenseful, whatever, Tales of Suspense and all that.
We lost the comics. I think the Border Ages got them.
Alpha, no, she didn't. She made it better than it otherwise would have been, but nothing on this earth can make that Eternals movie watchable. The Eternals, they should be written, sure, but not that movie.
Hold the phone. She's in that?
Yes. Selma Hayek played Ajax, right?
Not enough.
I need a Selma Hayek cut.
Maranya saying, hasn't Zora the Gay Blade gotten a reboot along with a gender swap from Sean Gordon Murphy's new Zora book? I haven't read that. Is that out already?
It came out last week.
Yes, I came in and Yosin from the Big Plays. Yeah, you're welcome. I know I'm going to get a copyright hit. I'm not going to be able to monetize this video, but you know what? Screw it. I wanted to put that in. We have these things all ready to go, but because of music stuff, we're not able to use them, and that's why sometimes I'll put this on. It doesn't have music. It's me as Barney Rubble and Eric as Fred Flintstone. So I think they're fun. I think they're fun to josh about. So what else did? But I use this as a holder. Like, okay, we're gonna start soon, guys, and I'll just put this in because there's no music. The one that
play with us, Daddy. Forever and ever and ever.
That just makes me laugh like a sif. I love that one.
Better than the Stanley Kubrick version.
Yeah. But
what I need to do is change the faces to just the logo for Madman in a Box, and Eric will be more scared.
Oh, there you go. This one, this one is the favorite one that.
Shit.
I love that bit. Just shit. But there you go, and of course, Venkman had to do this one.
Mom used to say that to me when I was
Okay, I get too much enjoyment out of those things.
Out of Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah, well, Brokeback Mountain is
Brokeback Green. Right? Oh my gosh!
There you go.
I didn't eat.
Who's your friend? Oh, do you find me sexy? Oh, look at my titties. Oh,
So much therapy is needed now.
Yep, I'm just demonetizing the fuck out of this thing. So, oh goodness. Let's see. They had to back off on the full horror books due to original comics code, the relaxed one after the Spidey drug issues permitted werewolves and vampires. That's why also a lot of characters ended up in magazines and such. Let's see. MK Venkman wanted to ask, the new Batman animated show Cape Crusader will have extreme violence.
I guess Bruce Timms had said in an interview that he basically, this is what he wanted to do with Batman animated series. So if you thought the whole knocking out Barbara was bad, wait to this, because he said he had to tone down the violence. So honestly, I don't know what he means by that. Maybe because like I said, my example was an MK kind of misread what I was saying. I was saying that in our conversation that the Batman series, you didn't see anybody's arms blowing off or decapitation or anything like that. We certainly saw some really disturbing scenes, the Joker, but
yeah,
but it wasn't like gore, blood splat, and all that stuff. So I don't know.
We'll see. This is the thing. This might, I could be wrong, but this might be yet another case of evidence that sometimes things are good in spite of the creatives behind them, not because of the creatives behind them.
Yeah.
Brubaker's still attached to it, right? Isn't he?
Hello?
Brubaker is still the writer for season 1. Season 2, I don't think he is. He has other stuff going on, but he is definitely still the head writer for season 1.
Oh, I also randomly I saw some idiot, some celebrity saying Batman only finds drug addicts. That's he's a horrible hero. He's not a hero. It's like drug addicts, guys selling arm dealers. Basically human trafficking. Batman fights all of them. You dumbass. He even fights celebrities.
Well, you guys want to keep the conversation going?
I mean, we can. If you want us to do the bad comic beatdown on that Fire and Ice, we can do that as well.
Nah, you guys go on ahead. Just keep conversations if you want to keep it going.
I have no bad comics.
Okay. I have to go get my wife. So yep. Sounds.
I figured that was going to happen.
That person sounds like he doesn't know much about Batman. Well, one thing, there was this one book, I forget, it's Batman Underground, something like that, where it was about him taking down child sex rings. And he talks to a therapist, and he said, I fight crime. And she says, no, you fight criminals. And that is one thing, of course, fighting crime, you got to stop it where it starts, that kind of thing. And that was a distinction that they were making between people who were trying to help, like psychologists and such, versus the superhero that jumps down and beats the tar out of a criminal. You could say that about cops too.
Yeah.
Cops don't fight crime. They fight criminals.
Cops are wrong if they have to tackle someone who's high and, on some kind of PCP drug, and can take 4 bullets and keep coming at you with a knife. So the cop's the bad guy in that situation?
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're a drug user, habitual drug user, and you've been arrested multiple times, you kind of, I feel sorry for it a little bit, but then again, if you are refusing help, you're that far in, I'm sorry. There's a line. And
you forfeit your right to protest if you're like a third or fourth time you continue going back to that well, even though you know
always
what's
try to
happening.
help them, but if you're putting someone else's life at stake, your life forfeits.
It's what I say about the people that go sit in the middle of a road and protest. Like, as soon as you sit your butt on the pavement, it's like you forfeit your right to live, because you're going to sit in the middle of a road, a busy highway.
I'm waiting for the guy to do the whole Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, I'm going to move my car forward. You can protest all you want, but I will promise you, the damage my car does to you, you could lose your legs, you could lose your life. The damage you're going to do my car, nothing.
Not at all.
No. This is going to be your choice.
Eventually, you're gonna get a Joker type kind of insanity person who's just gonna run him over the semi.
James,
let me say this.
60s Avengers are absolutely worth it. Hulk is awesome in the Silver Age. I do highly recommend those, as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp are pretty damn good.
Yeah, they're gonna be bad runs.
But the thing is, when you talk about run, like we know it, like a 6-issue, a 3-issue, 4-issue run, they're very rare, so it's hard to point out. Now,
storyline.
in the 70s, it changes. You get the Kree Skrull War. You get the you got the Korvac Saga, which is my favorite Avengers story of all time. So
Tomb of Dracula.
Tomb of Dracula is a good book. Yep.
I guess if you consider a run being like it's the same creative on there for like 30, 40 issues, and someone else takes over.
Thank you, Ultimate Evil. I forgot what it was. I knew it started with a U, but thank you there, one slick. Like the guy who went all MK Raiden on that judge. Oh my gosh, that was, you gotta. The dude was dumb as fuck, but oh my gosh, that vertical leap over the judge's thing to get to her. Good job, you sir.
Yeah, I award you no points for morality. I will, however, award you points for style.
Some coach should head on him for the Olympic team.
Oh, he's gonna be busy for the rest of his life.
You're the follow-up to that, right? The follow-up to that was that they're saying it's racist because the fact he's now put it in. They got before he wasn't in restraints. Now he's in restraints.
He's got that freaking Silence of the Lamb mask on and everything.
And they're saying it's racist because they used to do that to the black slaves back in the day too. It's called.
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry.
No, it's because he tried to bite someone.
To themselves and others. That's how this works.
Yeah, those are pretty much ridiculous and stupid people who bring up the race card when it's. Maybe they're trolls. If you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, they're trolls, but they're the dumbest fuckers on the face of the planet. Oh my gosh, he shot that dude 25 times and then he got life sentence. That's racist. No, you're dumbass.
It's like we had that in Wisconsin here, not this Christmas, but the Christmas before, where the guy drove through the Christmas parade with his vehicle.
I remember that. Yeah,
and it was out on bail for another crime. And
the Kenosha thing.
No.
It wasn't Kenosha. This was a different guy.
This is in Waukesha.
Yeah, Waukesha. That's it. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
Newton Island.
Kenosha is actually the Kyle Ritter thing.
Okay.
Right, but yeah, I knew it was one of those Eskimo sounding towns you guys have over there.
One of those X-Men islands.
My point is that if you are a certain race and of a certain class, I could say, they let you out as it's a revolving door in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's always been that. It's been Democrat for 60 years. It's a shithole, and everyone moves out that Ken's moves out. So and cops. Well, the cops are not allowed to pursue anybody in Milwaukee in their cars. If they see someone stealing a car, they're not allowed to chase them.
Yeah, that's called the right to escape, and Brazil has in the whole country, and that's why we hate the Supreme Court for 34 years right now.
Wait, you guys seriously have a quote-unquote right to escape?
Yes.
Well, I hope it also applies to the victims of violent crime. Where's their right to escape?
No, if you're stealing a car, you have the right to escape.
Okay, hold on, guys. Let me say this. I want to tell a little story, and then I'm going to go. So today I get a knock
time with E.
Today I get a knock on the door, and my neighbor, really good guy from across the street, he comes up and he says, "I heard you lost your pet. I think I found him." And my heart just, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do because you're not holding a cage right now. He says he's okay. And my heart went, fuck yes. All right. Yes.
Relief.
And he says, but we just want to make sure. And because we found him in our backyard, and obviously he says we heard a hawk got to him and we can see he's injured. So we wanted to take pictures. You could come over and move him. And I said, okay. And he says, is this your dog?
Oh, son of a bitch.
I would kick him the ball.
That hurts.
No, the guy was sweet as hell. I mean, you know, he wanted to. But the thing is this dog actually had talon marks. It was a tiny dog that its owner was walking in this. The owner said a falcon grabbed onto her dog and started to carry it away.
So, do you have the dog then?
You guys
no, actually,
fucking problem in your neighborhood.
Actually, there's a falcon problem in our neighborhood right now.
You know what your first problem was? You didn't get a hawk instead of getting a little bird. You should get.
Yeah, there you go. That way, there would have been a hawk fight. Yes.
Eglantine Falconer.
But the thing is I wasn't mad at him for but I had hope for a little bit, and then it was just like, okay. No, I told him, I said, mine was a bird. We had him for 13 years, and definitely the last 6 he's been mine because I'm home all the time, and he's 6 years worth of a bird on your shoulders. But it was just such a, you talk about bait and switches. This was one that was like, yes, please let me go get my bird. Wasn't it? Oh fuck!
it's like next to the lands you like. I found your dog over here. It's an alligator.
Thank you. Yeah, right. Thank you for bringing my bird to life just so you could kill him again. Let's see. Marvel moved to town, and now there's a Captain America problem, right? Did you hear they announced the new He-Man on Netflix? You asked the wrong question.
Oh, and nobody gives a damn.
Did I care? No, I didn't care the first time. I definitely don't care after hearing it sucked 960,000 times.
Did you understand?
Yeah.
What Eric said? What? Did you understand the joke that Eric made?
Marvel moved to town, and now there's a Captain America problem. No.
Falcon?
Oh. Womp.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, the other day, Glenzer said the Pacers did me a favor because they creamed the Hawks. It's like yeah, okay, well, thank you. I don't know basketball, but that's because I didn't get the joke at first. Yeah, the Pacers beat the Hawks.
Let me ask one thing: is this hawk from a protected species?
Well, according to RDV, he says hawks are. I've never heard that here, but
hawks. Well, it's just I know for at least for certain birds or animals are.
Not all hawks. Like we had a problem here because seahawks were killing the seabirds here, and we had 9 years exterminating them because they were like a plague here.
Generally
We
in
had like
Florida, the Florida law is
5,000 hawks.
in Florida, the law is usually if you can catch it, you can fuck it or kill it. So, I mean, it's Florida. Anyway, you guys have a great time. I'm gonna go get my wife. Have fun. See you later.
Cheers.
Don't crash the car.
Don't freeze.
Right. See ya.
I will do my best to rein in Bankman.
Oh, okay. Y'all are gonna fight over who's running the show here.
Oh no, I'm just gonna start muting people so I can talk.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Have a good time. See ya.
All right. Now there was 4 of us.
He's gone. We can drink now. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Did you saw that? Can you say cocaine? The Dora the Adventure parody from YouTube.
I mean, I have some absinthe, but I really want to do it the traditional way with the sugar cubes and the soda water, so I'm not going to do that tonight.
Oh, okay.
Zach, we can
What?
drink now.
What?
We're just gonna drink tea, not coffee.
I'm saving the coffee for later on. I'm gonna need it if I need it. I'm gonna stay up that late.
I love that. Eric's like, since he's gone, now I'll come on because he did that last time.
Well, I mean, send him the
brain.
link, Bankman, if he wants to.
Oh, he's in the group.
Yeah, he's in the group chat. Yeah. Backdoor brain. He waits till he
Whoa,
leaves.
that sounded very bad.
Well, because as we know, Eric is one of the true mascots of this channel. Same thing with Maranya.
True.
All right. Well, I guess we'll make this next segment the Open Line Monday, guys. You know, if you have something you want to talk about that's comic book related, let us know.
Yeah, give us some topics, or give us some suggestions of bad comics that need beating down, because I like doing that.
Okay, so here's the first one, just off the top of my head. Have you guys seen the artist? I haven't read any, but the guy who's doing the artwork for the Saladin Ahmed Daredevil run, the dude draws She-Hulk like he should be drawing She-Hulk instead of Daredevil. He does a fantastic She-Hulk.
It's Ahmed? I didn't realize his last name was Saladin.
Fareed? I know it starts with an F. Oh, no, the writer. Yeah, Saladin Ahmed, I think. I think that's the writer's name. Well, yeah, Ahmed. There's the Ah.
Because you say, I go right to
it's an accent thing.
Sorry.
You all know I normally do too, but that's But the artist.
Yeah, insert silence I kill you joke here.
Yeah. It's like, Marvel, why haven't you given this guy your She-Hulk book? I would still be buying She-Hulk.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's exactly
look
why
like
it happens,
woman,
because
not like
because we can't have someone drawing women or men in an aesthetically pleasing way, because aesthetics are a harmful, limiting social construct, don't you know?
I don't know.
I hate critical theory.
It's got to be more of the editorial as far as the whole thing, as far as drawing how they draw women, because the way was it Carlos Pacheco's? Who was the one who was it Gomez? The one who was on the Exterminators, I think. Zach. The way he was drawing them, and for Marvel, for a satire book, it was like they were pretty much drawing him how Liam Williams looks in real life.
Pretty much. Who was Carlos Gomez? Yeah, that was his name.
Carlos Gomez.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, because no, a lot of people didn't. Some people didn't like the book because it was tee-hee, funny, whatever jokes. It wasn't a serious version. The art was pretty damn good. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And I haven't seen anything art like that on any Marvel books in a long time. So I mean, Lee Williams is not the best writer, but for whatever reason, that book it fit for satire. So now, as a long-term writer,
so
probably not.
Fareed Karami, I think that's his name. That's the artist I'm talking about. You can like if you pull up on Twitter, like I'm gonna try to find his She-Hulk book on Twitter. His She-Hulk is really, really good. I even like I commented, I was like, how are you not the artist on the actual She-Hulk book? And he's like, editorial decisions.
Because they don't like, because again, how dare you endorse traditional aesthetics? Traditional aesthetics are a harmful social construct that we must abolish somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see this is editorial executives, which is the worst position ever created for comic books, which don't make sense. Executives are awful at the office, and every time I worked with one, I wanted to kill myself or kill the guy because, God, these people are like Puritans with a hard on only for cash. They don't care about nothing, but they want always to sell in more places, so they think if they do less things as sexy, spicy, violence, they try to tone down everything.
I just want to point out
Like
that
our art books, they wanted to censor every time the sword show up. Is King Arthur? The Excalibur is a big part of it. You know, King Arthur, and the guy just ignored everything that we the other actors talked about, and he pushes over and talk to the others anyway.
Well, when you get right down to it, the SJW, they're just the new Puritan class. They're all about everything for the sake of my morality, nothing for the sake of quality or entertainment value.
So Zach, you're saying that the artist you're talking about is the same on David Chase
Yeah,
Venom?
I just saw he was the one that did the art on that David Michelini Venom book that you read last year.
Very good art on that.
Yeah, the art on that. I remember the art on that. I remember how he drew Venom and Silver Sable and everything.
Dr. Doom, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the same guy that's doing at least Daredevil #5. I don't know if he's going to stay on there long term.
And like you said, great art, wasted on a shitty writer.
Unfortunately.
Clayman, Ivan Reyes, it's like they just have to put the worst writers with the best art because they know if they put it with a crappy artist, no one will go after the book.
I don't even think it's that. Calculating. I think it's just they simply don't understand quality anymore. And even if they do understand it, they're supposed to undermine it whenever they can. So
unfortunately, I don't think the artists have a choice. I think, especially like you get a lot of like these new artists coming into the industry, and the editors reach out to them, and they're like, "Hey, you're new, but if you want to start on this book with this writer, like they don't get to choose. They kind of, I guess, they might get assigned or like volunteered for certain runs, maybe, which sucks for the artist that they don't have any kind of agency in choosing."
It's almost like we'll put up with decent art if it's in service to our ideologically motivated storytelling. But don't you dare put decent art in a decent story or we'll kill you.
Right.
And they walk with friends from college or university, and they never go out of their Ivy League bubble. And if you dare to talk to them, they block you.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a right winger, even if you're a normal liberal guy, they block you.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I am the most left-wing person on this panel, and yet I get called conservative and neo-reactionary and fascist just like the rest of everyone because I might be a social democrat in favor of like Medicare for all and single payer and stuff, but I also don't like social justice, so I'm the devil apparently.
I want to point out that something that Chuck Dixon had said when he was asked Chuck Dixon, he was talking about back in the 90s when he was doing the Robin series. He originally did not want to do it, but the editor comes up to him and says, like, you know what? You'd be perfect for this. He's right. He's like, I don't know about Robin. I don't really care about Robin. He's like, so eventually they had him do his little series on there. And it's like he said, like, I really had no say over it. I could turn it down, sure, but it's like at that point, it's kind of like peer pressure thing. If you don't do this, well, they're going to be upset at you, and that might close some other doors. So a lot of them, when you're first starting off, really have no legway or already anything to basically say no, I don't need this, because a lot of them are used to being like, well, we can just get another Tumblr artist, instead, and they'd rather have crappy artists on books because they're cheaper, and two, it's all about we don't need to have everything is great art. This Tumblr art here is better than Dan Mora's art here. Like, it all depends on who the editor is, and except they're friends, they're snobs. They don't.
Well, it's this weaponized subjectivity shit that they learn in academic circles, academic art school. This idea that there is no meaningful definition of good aesthetics or mathematically beautiful aesthetics.
Yeah.
This idea that literally the only thing that makes good art good or bad art bad is preference. And it's the same way with storytelling. The idea that storytelling doesn't follow logical parameters or can't be reasonably defined as logical parameters is what they learn in these art schools. They basically have to unlearn the concept of standards, because in their minds, standards are just what we've all been pre-programmed with, and therefore we have to abolish them and work to undermine them at every turn.
All right.
Exactly. It's also because of this they do not understand color palette. Try to explain to one of these guys how color palettes work, and they will burn out from confusion.
Yeah. It's gotten it's so much the opposite in their heads that they literally can't understand the straight up correct answer anymore.
Well, DC's biggest problem for me right now is not really much of the writing, is the fact that the art, when they in certain books, like look at current Batman Robin, everything has to be glossy. They're doing that over at Zebel's Spider-Man book as well. It's like, why is the art gotta be so glossy, where characters shiny? Now, Moon Knight and Jed McKay's book.
I was gonna say it works for Moon Knight, yeah.
Yeah, but like Spider-Man should not be swinging through a sunset, but it's not a sunset. Like, say the sun's already set. There should not be any light shining on him if the sunset's behind him and in front of when we're seeing the bad game. If anything, we should see a shadow. It should be darker. It should be more flat.
Well, and the same is also true of the stories they're in as well, not just the aesthetics. But like, remember the other day when we were doing the Outsiders comic and they tried to make Batman this like narratively and mythologically connected character, and I would like. I love putting mystical and cosmic weirdness in things as much as the next guy, probably significantly more than the next 500 guys, if I'm being entirely honest. But Batman doesn't belong in this, like, post-Jungian, like, narrative, logic-driven mythos.
Yeah,
there are characters for that, but the street-level characters are not it.
I kind of felt like they were trying to say that, whoever the writer was for that, it had watched the CW and like the Batwoman show where she takes Batman's costume and makes her, like, they're saying without Batman there would be Kate Kane as Batwoman, and like that's her whole existence is the fact that she just took a costume, put it on, like, but there, I mean, like, where because Batman universe it was always Bruce Wayne, where what's his name, Lucius Fox, who's Batwing, stands out. He's an imposter. He shouldn't be here. Where Kate Kane's welcome with open arms. Like, why is she welcome with open arms? She's, like I said, she's not that important, but somehow they were saying that she's tied to Bruce more than anybody else's, which is really weird to me.
Because they think that if they can say it fervently enough and for long enough, it will become the truth, because all the other people who know the opposite truth will either have left or be dead by the time. Like, they think that they can convince the new readers, the next generation of readers, that this always was the case and that they always were correct.
Yeah.
Because a large part of this ideology of theirs is the whole blank slate thing, where you can literally just tell people to believe whatever you want them to believe.
Everything's headcanon. Wait, wasn't that different last week? Doesn't matter. It's new this week.
It's literally the Ministry of Arts from 1984. This is the party new doctrine. You are under strict instructions to get over the previous doctrine.
Go ahead, Cartoon Comics.
There's no standards anymore for storytelling, for scenarios, for color palette, for the history,
Okay,
hitman, and there's none of this. I blame completely the editorial and the executives.
so I have a
Yep.
question. You guys
Standards
keep
are the
bringing
enemy.
color. You guys keep bringing color pack. What do you mean by that? Explain it to Red, because I'm sure there's a lot of people other than me that's going over my head.
Like Batman, you need shadows and you need blue normally because you need Batman to show off, and you need gray too. And they use a very colorful character to contrast with him, like the Joker, like the Riddler, like this, because it works. It show off how they are different. But now you see the Batman, he's colorful, and the villain is colorful. How you differentiate them?
Yeah,
It's also important for history telling this.
it's a basic principle of color theory. The idea that if you want some element of the image to contrast, you have to use contrasting colors. So, for example, green and purple are the opposites of like red and blue, and so on. But
Yeah,
Exactly.
they don't think through that. A, because they're too busy thinking of every other variable under the sun, and B, because even if they do know that they should be doing that, that's just an arbitrary subjective standard that we need to abolish because it's oppressive. Derp.
So,
Disconstruct this standard.
so is that why we started seeing blues and pinks popping up everywhere for backgrounds?
Yes.
That's probably more to do with bylighting, the concept, the artistic concept of bylighting, because they want to work critical queer theory into every conceivable nook and cranny that they can manage.
Because it felt like we went back to the four color, comics, but we're only using two. It was pink and blue for everything. Is like even movie posters were doing this too. It
is on some level it's the like overly simplistic critical queer theory nonsense, but on the other, I think it's just a straight up misunderstanding of how important aesthetics actually are and how hard and fast those aesthetic rules actually are.
That's current Batman Robin that's by Joshua Williamson. I forget who the artist is, but it basically is blue and pinks for the colors. A little bit of black here, but it's like they're bright. And they put like this white hue around Batman and Robin. And it's just like it's just so weird and glossy. The point I like flat colors sometimes. I think they fit better if it's nighttime than having glossy effect.
Well, it's funny because I've actually gone back and looked at Golden Age comics, and their aesthetics are better and more weighty and more mythical than what we currently are getting, because they basically have doubled down on this kind of cartoony aspect to everything, and it makes like compare whatever your gold standard for 90s comics was to the art standards now, and it's freaking night and day, because it's kind of like what happened in the animation industry too. Like when I was a kid, or when you guys were probably teenagers, I grew up on like action cartoons like the 2003 Ninja Turtles, Batman the Animated Series, the DC Animated Universe, Gargoyles, and so on.
You want to see this in real time? See Ben 10. First Ben 10, second Ben 10, and then Omniverse and the new one, and you see the deterioration of the animation industry of action cartoons.
That's a fantastic example. Alien Force and Ultimate Alien looked freaking amazing. Then Omniverse happened, and it was literally a deliberate step backwards. Same thing happened with the 2002 He-Man versus the She-Ra reboot for Netflix, and although to a lesser degree with the new Kevin Smith one, because at the very least, the new Kevin Smith one aesthetically looked nice enough, especially in the trailers, that we were all thinking, okay, maybe we'll actually get a decent He-Man. Nope. The only thing that's better about He-Man, the only thing that's better about the Kevin Smith He-Man than the Netflix She-Ra is the aesthetics. That is the only thing they even pretended to get right for 5 years.
I'm going to upset Venkman, but you could even look at the Avengers animated series from 2009 or 2010.
Assemble?
Compare that. No, not Assemble. That is the worst one. Earth's Mightiest Heroes had more. It had more vibrant colors. It was aesthetically, it was different. All the characters looked different. When Disney took over and did Avengers Assemble, they muted a lot of the color palette so it looked less lively. And all the characters, at least all the male characters, all just looked like they were cookie cutter models of each other. Like all their bodies looked similar. Thor might have been a little bit bigger. Hulk might have been a little bit bigger.
I preferred Hawkeye's new costume with the sunglasses.
Well, I mean, you want a really extreme example. Look at Glenn Arakami's Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go. That is a sign of the absolute downgrade that was.
That's torture.
100%. 100%. Or also, I was watching on Amazon. I didn't realize this at the time. They did another Justice League show. Not like Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. I think it's called Justice League Action, so they can technically use
Justice League Action.
My nephew was watching these. I was wait.
It's not terrible. Justice League? It's not terrible, but the art quality is substantially worse than
it's an obvious it's like an inversion, and you can literally see it because like for a while there, you saw a progression upwards. Like, take the 80s He-Man and compare him to the 2002 He-Man. The 2002 one looks objectively better. Same thing with Thundercats, the 80s version versus the 2011 version. But now, we've cycled back around again, where instead of Thundercats 2011, you're getting Thundercats Roar. Instead of He-Man 2002, you're getting the She-Ra reboot and the
dumbing down
Kevin Smith reboot
of the
and
art.
so on. It's a deliberate. It's actually a deliberate reversal, and it's absolutely infuriating.
But it's funny we're talking about art and all stuff. You know, wasn't it just like last week that Rob Liefeld was getting a huge argument with a bunch of people saying how he loves the '90s art compared to most of the other arts because independent artists, you know, especially like him and others, Sam Keith, who did the Max, were taking liberties themselves and taking risk and drawing characters differently than they normally would be. We all know that Spider-Man had a house style, and like he said, he says that Senior was boring. I was like, I'm sorry, no, it was.
He's kind of right though. He's kind of
no. I'm sorry, that was peak Spider-Man art for me.
And it's not just the art style either. It's also the storytelling and the writing. Like,
exactly. You can still have the storytelling and make the art like
the background characters, everything. The scenery, the background characters was awesome in those books. So
that's fine, but we're not talking about backgrounds or background characters. We're talking about
because if you start drawing them differently, you remember the artist not only draws Spider-Man, they draw everything else differently too, the buildings and all stuff.
Well, the Ultimate Universe drew Hawkeye differently than Hawkeye had been drawn for decades. So you're saying that's bad then?
I'm just gonna say that it was funny because he brought up the whole entire art thing, you know, and then here we are talking about the coloring process and all that stuff. It's like it just seems like it's the huge deal, and I'm surprised that E hasn't done a whole video on it.
Well, and everything tends to move downhill all at once because the writing also has gotten overly simplistic and amateurish all over again. To the point
well, it's just for children. Well, we were children. We turned out fine. So like
to the point actually, it's gotten so bad that I dare you to compare, say, the Cadmus story arc from Justice League Unlimited with actual adult dramas. The adult drama has more simplistic, more broad strokes writing than the thing that was allegedly for kids back in the day.
I look at and this is crazy too. I look at Kirkman's Walking Dead and look at the art back then, and how everyone's been trying to copy his art style. Well, not Kirkman's art, but by Charlie Adlard's. And then who was the other one? That was Ryan Otley took over. It's phenomenal. But who was I forget who I thought it was Terry Moore. that was on there too. Like
For Invincible.
For Invincible, yes, those both artists on there, and you look at Charlie Adler's on and if it's pronounced something else, let me know. His artwork in Walking Dead was not that great, but to me that was the beginning of Tumblr art. It was the point where we're just drawing sequential, and it was great storytelling because there was hardly any dialogue. And when Rick finally said something, you got a whole paragraph, and I was like, it's like I haven't had the read for like 5 issues. All of a sudden, you gave me this huge paragraph. But that style telling, I've noticed it's starting to pop up more too, and it's that art style. Like I said, look at Larry Rossmo. Larry Rossmo is another example being misused or just pushed everywhere because they figure like, oh, it works for everything. It doesn't. The Walking Dead art, I would not put that on any other book because it fits there. Roy Rossmo works on Sandman, and she'd only be doing Sandman or Harley Quinn if it's from her point of view. If it's otherwise, you should be putting your better artists on these books, because if a book's meant to be a superhero thing, it should not be cartoony. And Marvel and DC seem to think the cartoony art fits the current books.
It's because they have no respect for comics as a medium. They think that cartoon equals the most like childish version of cartoon as possible. Even the Looney Tunes is better in terms of both storytelling and aesthetics than most of what they consider to be cartoony aesthetics.
It's probably also Rossmo is willing to work for the page rate that they want to set too. Like it could just be some artists can't accept the low wages that DC might be offering for some of these books. That Rossmo is like, yeah, sure, I'll do that.
I don't mind cartoony art can work. We look at Justice League Infinity. It's based off the Justice League animated style. That art on those cartoons was not the best art we've seen.
It's not only that, because I know cheaper artists, and I'm doing my book. Then they worked for Marvel, but because they do not agree with the color palette they use sometimes or the shades they want you to make, they do not work with Marvel or DC. They are from Brazil, and they do not work for them because they do not agree with the aesthetic vision they want you to put in. Like I say, editorial is the problem right now in these companies.
I've been noticing that a lot of Brazilian artists or just South American artists are working on a lot of Kickstarter books now. I've seen my friend Drew Erdolan, Wittick. He just did another book, and he's been having a lot of Brazilian artists come over. And then maybe that could be the reason why they have, these guys haven't gone to DC because we just said they don't agree with the way how they're coloring their art, or they just refuse to do it themselves. They don't want.
Well, and it creates the same problem that they have with manga and anime right now. They hate manga and anime because it offers an alternative to the current aristocratic academic school of thought among the Western people. Like they absolutely despise manga and anime because it offers an alternative to social justice or wokeness or deconstruction, whatever however you want to term it.
Of course, the whole argument is like the issue. How dare it to be competition? You should only be mindful of stuff. So I can set the price limit. When someone's come out and manga came out and started just raising popularity, that then they made them look like a joke. I mean,
and then a certain sect of SJWs decided to become localizers for anime because if they can't freaking get an in the industry because it's all the way in Japan, they can quote unquote Westernize it, and that way that's another vector of anti-wokeness cut off. And then they'll be surprised as soon as they get in and become the woke localizers, the vocalizers. Anime will start going down, and whatever the next alternative will pop up. I wonder if it will ever occur to them. I wonder if it will ever occur to them that the reason why everything they touch turns to shit is because of their philosophical underpinnings. It's because of their approaches. It's because of their way of doing things.
When it comes to manga and DC comics and all this stuff, and not just comics in general, I love competition. And this is, I guess, and they'll use a wrestling example. There's a lot of people who like WWE because it's more successful, they make more money, and they think, oh, why should I get anything else? I like the fact there's other little companies popping up, and you have alternatives, because what it does is this forces the ones, and it should for Marvel and DC, if their competitor is doing better, they need to step up their game. And that's what's happening in wrestling. You're seeing for both companies. And like I said, I don't understand the whole where I'm a Boy Scout, for Marvel and DC, but I will not read indie, or vice versa. It's like right now you have options, and options is good. That's why there's multiple car dealerships.
Right. The reason they don't like competition is because for them it's a moral and political crusade. They don't care about the medium of comics as the medium of comics. They care about it as an artistic and moral weapon.
So Quid's bringing up they Japan starting to fire translators for AI. And
yes, I love it.
Good and bad, because there might be a decent translator out there who's actually doing good work, but there was a year last year or before, someone this woman was going around and mistranslating on purpose.
Multiple. Yeah. There have been multiple cases like that.
It's been an ideological translation.
I know people who speak Japanese, and when I show them the subbed screenshots of some of the anime I watch, they're like, no, they don't actually say that. What they're saying is something else. So
they do this.
It's a deception. It's to trick the English speaking audience into thinking what they want the anime to say.
Well, the funny thing is, for as much as SJWs hate tradcons, they're doing now exactly what the tradcons used to do with anime editing. Like, remember when any character who smoked in One Piece or Dragon Ball had to instead be holding a lollipop because we say so?
Yep.
The family values nonsense.
Yep.
This is that. It's just from a different framework.
Exactly.
I don't know. Speaking of anime, what's your thoughts on rebooting anime? Like, we just saw that Rurouni Kenshin just got a 2023 facelift. And watching that, and cool new voice cast. They up the art a little bit. The music's a little better. But it's they've been doing this with a couple different animes I've seen popping up. And it's I guess the good thing of Rurouni Kenshin was, I was looking into this, the guy who originally developed the series manga stuff is involved in it. So it's just kind of weird. Like, if One Piece decided to basically it's rebooting, as I heard it was going to, right?
Yeah, they got a different anime studio, and they're going to be remaking it, which I think is going to be good, because it's going to hopefully streamline a lot of the story arcs. If you watch a lot of the original first One Piece, a lot of the episodes replay the same scenes over and over to eat up time. So I feel like they'll streamline stuff, make it a lot easier. Yeah. And it also makes the story more accessible to people who might want to check out the anime, but get intimidated by over 1,000 episodes.
I was going to say, I just saw that with Rurouni Kenshin. The original one is 96 episodes plus 6 movies.
Yeah.
So, Maranya, I just want to be perfectly clear. There's nothing wrong with traditional values or conservatism. I'm specifically talking about the whiny family values tradcons of yesteryear, who are to modern day SJWs the exact same, who basically are exactly the same thing as modern day SJWs.
Like the Dungeons and Dragons is evil crowd.
Yeah.
Now we have the rainbow-haired Karens. Yesterday we had the Helen Lovejoys. That's what I'm specifically talking about when I mock or deride tradcons. The people who are family values warriors, if you like.
Back. As far as I agree, censorship, no matter what it is, whether it's remember in the 90s they were outside porn stores trying to we should close down porn stars. Honestly, that's one guy's addiction. Let them, and they're making money. Who cares? They're not hurting anybody.
Rock and roll is the devil. Dungeons and Dragons is the devil.
Pokemon Pokemon. I remember when they
Pokemon's
thought
the devil.
Pokemon. My parents were actually in the Pokemon is the devil crowd. I had
And I
to,
mean,
like,
getting
help 'em
back
out.
into comics, lest we forget that it
Yep.
was a right-wing SJW, a family values tradcon, Frederick Wortham, who gave us the Comics Code Authority in the frickin' first place. And it was terrible, just like the current crop of ESG and DEI standards are just as terrible as the Comics Code Authority ever was.
It's impressive how the comic book media forgot about this the moment they agreed with the politics of the censorship. Oh, King Censor, I agree with them. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Marania, we're not trying to lump them all in one thing, but I mean, if anybody who's for censorship, you should really look into what that person is talking about, because there's no reason to censor books. Now, hold on. If it's a book that's intended for adults, a child should not be reading it. There should be at least be a level before you're allowed to read it.
But what? That's why I went out of my way to define what I mean and why I frequently bash tradcons, because
I think you said Chad cons. I was like, yeah,
no,
ban those.
tradcons. The reason I bash tradcons is not because I'm against traditionalism or family values or whatever. It's because they were the right-wing equivalent of SJWs. And some people, even still now, are still the right-wing equivalent of SJWs. Hell, Matt Walsh the other day said that anime was satanic, and freaking
I remember that.
And I laugh my ass at him because he's so goddamn stupid when he do this stuff.
And remember, you know, back in the Gamergate days when Gavin McGinnis made his little rebel adults shouldn't be playing video games, build the table bigot rant.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I was in the Gamergate stuff, and hey, let me say this about Gamergate: we attacked the right wingers, even Alex Jones. We attacked back in the day before it became a cult of personality, and then all of a sudden we are expelled from it because we cannot complain about certain people. You know,
Real quick,
became just a club like the SJWs, and that really annoyed me.
Real quick comment about Matt Walsh. I think he just says things that get clicks sometimes.
Now, okay, fine.
I think he believes what what he is saying, but like the whole anime comment, I think that's just to upset people.
Okay, but
that might have just been a troll thing, but he stuck with that joke for a long time.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are people who will believe him unironically because there are people who believe that unironically. Just like, you know, today or recently we dealt with Anita Sarkeesian being the SJW equivalent of Jack Thompson. That doesn't make what Jack Thompson said okay. I am against authoritarian moral censorship, no matter which side is doing it or for what reason they're doing it, which means no, oh, but my God will get offended, and no, oh, but my socio-political demographic will get offended. I don't care. Art outranks you. Deal with it.
I'm confused. Is Marani, are you actually even a boomer? Because my mom's like the second generation boomers.
Isn't Breen a boomer?
Well, Breen was born 62, and so was Marani.
Yeah, well, Breen and Marani are really close together.
My mom was born 55, my dad was 54, and they're on the tail end of the boomers, second generation.
The baby boom is from it's generally thought to be from 1946 to 1964. So anyone born in that range is a boomer.
I would assume that they were Gen X's.
Anyone after that, between 66 or
65 to
65 to 86 is a Gen Xer, and then from 86 to 2006, I think, is the millennials.
But I do agree, boomers using boomers and incels is stupid. As stupid as Obama saying, "Stick to your Bible and your guns."
What it basically means is people who are too old and out of touch to know how things work. That's what it tends to mean when it's used that way.
Like I said, like for boomers to me it was like people who were in their 20s in the 60s and stuff, and pretty much now in their 80s.
Yeah, we're not insulting you or Eric Marania when we talk about people being boomers. It's just a new way of saying the older generation is too out of touch. Just like I'm not insulting you when I say tradcons used to do X. I'm specifically referring to the Helen Lovejoys in the same way we refer to Karens now.
I was gonna say, I don't think censorship started until what's his name was assassinated, JFK. That's my little tinfoil hat when it comes to America. That's when censorship began here. The far left are somehow more insidious, in my opinion. Well,
okay.
I want to real quickly before we go to that. I want to point out. I don't know if I mentioned it. MK had said that he said that Dalton, you come off more as a moderate Democrat.
I am not party affiliated with the Democrats at all. I despise either wing of the establishment. I was a Bernie bro both
you
times.
You sound like a libertarian.
Yeah, my second and third choices last election cycle were Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard. My first choice in both of the previous election cycles was Bernie Sanders. I am a classically liberal in principle, social democrat in terms of policy, but I'm very libertarian minded, and that's why I get along with people, whether they be left wing or right wing or center wing. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is, are you an authoritarian moralist or are you a libertarian populist? That, I think, is a more important distinction than left or right. I think that's why I like the formulation of the political compass test, because in my head, I don't care where you are in terms of the left and right axis. I care where you are in terms of the libertarian or authoritarian axis. Anyway, that's my soapbox.
Aliens are demons. Like I said, it all comes down with your faith. As you know, if you have a faith, you're a Christian. Aliens are not real, and if they're not exactly like little green men and stuff, you're seeing things because they might be fallen angels. That's the belief.
Oh, I'm a Christian, but like Jesus Christ said, my father had many homes before this, and he will have many homes before that. I think aliens maybe is a reality, and maybe they were created by God if you believe in God. We don't know.
See, getting back into comics and kind of stepping away from the religious and moral edge here for a second. That's why I really love the issue of the Neil Gaiman Sandman run called Passengers, because there is a scene in there where the Martian Manhunter sees Dream of the Endless, but he sees him as the Martian God of Dreams. I believe the name is Lord Lazoral. And I really like that idea, because here's the thing. I don't think any particular religious conception is antithetical to aliens. If there are aliens and there are gods of any description, then that alien culture, when we discover aliens, is going to have a version of those gods. That's why I always get pissed off at the ancient alien people, because the assumption of the ancient astronaut theory is that all gods ever were was secretly just aliens, which I don't agree with. I think the aliens are probably going to have gods of their own when we find them.
I'm going to comment on the pyramids, but being built by aliens, because I heard a joke, and I apologize, I can't remember who it was. It's on Instagram. The guy said, "Why would anybody think that the pyramids were built by Egyptians or even aliens over in Egypt?" And he's like, "Look, they got pyramids in Mexico. We all know that Mexicans are the hardest workers in the world. So I'm pretty sure they're probably that over there too."
Unironically, recent archaeological finds suggest that the pyramids are actually much older than we thought, because the Sphinx didn't always have a human head on it. It was originally a lion statue, and it predates what we know of Egyptian civilization by several thousand years. So there's that little canard for you.
I thought it was funny. I was like, yeah, they just decided one day, and they're like, they had other food trucks at the bottom of the hill. That's how they kept fed.
Oh, okay, but did you guys saw the documentary of the guys and trying to move the rock with the equipment, and they actually move it? I was okay. So it's possible to move 53 miles from one place for the other with these little boats. The rest, they escalate, I think, was 250 meters of sand, if it is possible today, and it was with the equipment they would use and the clothing. I don't remember the name, but was kind of to prove the guys from Ancient Aliens wrong, because they always say this was built by aliens, and everyone's like, okay, why are not in Rome saying it was built by aliens? It was maybe kind of SJW of them, but yes, but I think Egyptians really knew how to build this, and the Asian guys also knew how to build these things.
Well, and
the Tower of Babel, they found that how that was bad. That wasn't built by aliens. That was built by humans.
Well, and the other thing is, almost every culture that builds megalithic structures credit their gods with helping them. So I don't see why we have to immediately jump to aliens. If the culture in question says their gods helped them, then maybe their gods helped them. But then again, I'm a polytheist, so that's easier for me to believe than probably a lot of people.
I would just say I would thank God for not letting me fall off the skyscraper when I was building it. That's all I'm gonna say. But I mean, yeah, obviously human built it. And some people say, like, Christianity, if you believe in God, God gave you that wisdom, the talent. You're born with this. Where an atheist would say, I mean, imagine they wouldn't think of God; they would think themselves, right?
Well, the thing is, atheists tend to have some stand-in for higher powers, be it the collective Jungian unconscious, or be it like some kind of genetic predisposition, the idea that like evolution is smarter than any given human, etc. So honestly, eventually somebody just passes the buck to whatever is most convenient for them.
I kept thinking about evolution, and there's no way it could exist because if I'm the peak of my part, that's not good. How many banquets before I got this perfection?
Well, I mean, it doesn't happen on a person, like an individual level. It happens in a species level. So I think it's fair to say that none of us sitting here is the peak of human evolution. At least I hope, for the sake of our species, that none of us is the peak of human evolution. That would really suck.
I don't know, man. I
urge humanity at large to do better than me, because I have faith that my species can do better than me.
Hey,
and if you can't do better than me, then you're a bunch of fucking slackers.
Oh God, please, someone be better than me, because if there is no one, we're screwed.
Yeah. I have higher hopes and aspirations for the human race. Hopefully someone will come along who's better than me at everything.
Clarification for MK, you want to know, did you say Asian guys or ancient guys? I heard Asian when you're talking about the pyramids and stuff.
Asian.
Okay.
Because every time you see ancient aliens, they're in Asia saying how aliens built that thing, and they never go to Greece or Rome and say, oh, aliens built that thing, because they have documentation. Maybe the Asians had documentation and got destroyed, but come on, the Romans built, why the Asians could not build these things?
So the reason I don't want to believe that aliens are real, because if you've seen the Sigourney Weaver movie and you see the how Prometheus, how we created that shit, and then it came back to attack us, I don't want to believe that at all.
Shoot, you got Sigourney Weaver. I was just thinking Independence Day. Like, God, there's somebody else out there that's more advanced than us? Oh, we're screwed.
For Prometheus, if you watched it, these aliens came, he crashed land on Earth, survived, and then somehow they're using their technology, we go back, we trace where they came from, and then we find the eggs, and then she gets knocked up by her husband, who's been possessed by the symbiote, and then that creates a human hybrid. But then that attaches onto the original alien, and it creates the xenomorph. And so I was like, no. In that case, we just kill everything with fire.
Yes.
It's like I said, I don't want anything like reality. Like Ridley's got a really sick mind.
I mean, like I was joking about earlier, I think most people who believe in the ancient astronaut theory are atheists who want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to simultaneously look at the evidence that suggests other than human intelligence helped with certain things and simultaneously still basically consider themselves atheists. But I've always laughed at that, because what happens when we make first contact with an alien civilization and they have gods too? Are you then going to come to the conclusion that gods exist, or are you going to just keep passing the buck?
Guys, new drinking game. Every time Dalton says alien, you take a shot.
Or the civilization says, "Oh, nobody ever came here before. How are you guys?"
Yeah,
and these guys' face go to the floor. Oh shit!
I tend to favor the ultra-terrestrial rather than extraterrestrial model. I think what we now refer to as aliens are exactly the same as what our ancestors dealt with, which are spirits of nature and shit.
I feel like when it comes to peak humanity, it's somewhere a toss between Paulo or Eric Breen.
I mean, Zach is probably the handsomest of all of us.
Whoa.
It's a heavy burden, but I bear it.
That's so much. That's why he's doing it all in favor. I have his camera off, so it's
That's right.
That's right.
I know. I'm
It's not that
it's the suspense. You guys got to work for it. I'm tired of giving away my looks for free.
It's because Zach is eating cake right now. He doesn't want to.
No, I'm not eating anything. I'm playing Baldur's
Zach
Gate.
is secretly L from Death Note. Every time his camera's off, he's just eating sweets.
That's what I think of every time when Zach is. He's got an apple or he's eating cake.
It's more apples than cake. I'm trying to lay off the pastries.
What if it's apple cake?
Never had apple cake.
It's really good.
Dude, you've never had apple dump cake?
I don't. No, not
you are you are missing out, sir. You are missing out if you've never had apple dump cake.
I'm gonna add it to the list of pastries that I probably shouldn't eat, but I will try anyway.
Right.
Everyone needs a cheat day every now and again.
That's true.
All right. So, other than aliens, pyramids, and color palette, I guess I'm not gonna say the word anymore.
Palette. Color
okay.
palette. It's not a difficult word.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about in the chat?
Yeah, other topics that are a little bit less grandiose, so he doesn't yell at me for taking us all into the philosophical weeds again.
I still say you should have your own little 2-minute or 5-minute clip or so you should do posts like Philosophy 101 with Dalton, and you teach us something every day.
Well, I can't figure out how to do live streams on my channel, and he would never let me do that because every time I've gotten into the weeds before, he's gotten upset, and I don't want to.
You know how to record offline?
Well, but I can't really know what people are going to find interesting without a chat. I would actually prefer to do it in live stream format.
Just go A through Z through the whole Britannica encyclopedia.
I don't think even I am that pedantic. I thank you for the faith that you have in me, but I don't think even I am that pedantic.
Bankman, yeah, alternate universes like Earth 2 Dalton.
see, here's the thing with me and alternate universes. Whenever I think of a alternate universe version of me that I don't like, I imagine another universe crashing into that universe and destroying it. Because there's a theoretical physics theory that says you can create alternate universes simply by thinking about them. And so whenever I find myself thinking about a version of me that I don't like, I just imagine a universe crashing into that universe and destroying it, so that the balance of the Council of Daltons is maintained.
So what if that actually really was your power, and you're just committing genocide every time you do that?
For the glory of a better multiverse, damn it. If Ken can do it, then I can do it too, damn it.
I was about to say, this is literally Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars that you're thinking of. It's like, let's split up all the Marvel universes until there's just 2, and then we're going to have those universes collide.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Geek Hero Bubba. Are you eating? What's going on here?
I read the comment from Mariah, and I agree. The lack of skill for most digital artists book is what makes it ugly, and they do not know what a mistake is and how to actually correct the mistake. So they go on and on and on without saying, "Hey, I did a mistake. Maybe I can correct this way." But they do not understand how to correct because they never did it in paper, so they do not know the correct way to correct. I don't know if anyone understands, but in art school, you first work with paper, and the mistake you make, you can or either try to brush it, or you can try to paint it in a way who makes correct. But most digital artists never worked with paper. Never.
Dalton admits to genocide, taking out better versions of everyone else because he doesn't like his version.
I see. The thing with me is I don't want versions of myself in alternate universes to be substantively different. I want basically a Rick and Morty style central finite curve of versions of me that are all substantively the same, just in different circumstances.
You are Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom literally did this in one of the books. He went to the universe and he killed the good version of himself because he's like, Dr. Doom's evil no matter what. There can only be one.
I don't care enough about morality in either direction to do that. To be fair,
that was Cantwell's Dr. Doom story because it started off with Dr. Doom's like, why am I all of a sudden thinking that visions of this other where I have a family, my face is healed, I'm nice. He's getting all disturbed, and then he finds a portal and goes there. He's like, oh, and the new version's like, oh yeah, I don't care, I don't go after the trinkets anymore. He's got Infinity Gauntlet, he's got the Tesseract, he's got all this stuff. He's like, it's just paperweights for me now. And he's a good version. So what does Doom? Kills him pretty much at the end. He's like,
the Hickman version was better.
Of course.
It was the Hickman version that did it better, where Doom found a pocket dimension and he had all these lobotomized Dooms from other universes that were like his servants and his slaves. That was the best Doom in another universe. There was also the dinosaur Dr. Doom from the Ryan North Fantastic Four. That one was pretty good too.
It always go back to Ryan North to you.
Dude, it was dinosaurs.
I know.
That's one of my draws.
Have a good night, Geek Hero Bubba. Great seeing you. Sounds like a king scenario, Dalton, says Sam Proctor. All right.
Multiversal consistency is important, is all I'm saying.
Do you like another Earth Zach is a drug dealer or rapper like Eminem? Well, if Dalton's killing out that version, I'm for it.
Well, I mean, sure. If you want me to, I can imagine a universe crashing into that universe to prevent that circumstance.
I just want this as a comic book. Like have Scotty Young draw it, like little mini comics featuring Dalton killing off the other versions of Dalton. There can only be one, damn it!
It's not that there can only be one. It's that I want to be substantively the same person in all universes. So I don't want a massive deviation of who I am as a person. I want all versions of myself to be functionally the same person, just in different circumstances.
It's a comic strip series where each week you kill off another Dalton with a boot to the head.
Well, no, like I said, you kill another Dalton by crashing a universe to the head.
That's just evil. Mega Mind evil.
in a sane world, I would be the villain. The only reason why I'm a quote unquote good person in this universe is because people who call themselves good people are too busy fucking up everyone else's fun in the name of morality. And when the quote unquote good people are too busy fucking up everyone else's fun in the name of morality, it takes a villain to go good and prevent them from doing it.
But
I don't want to be the good one, but the allegedly moral people are too busy paving roads to hell with their own good intentions, and now I have to.
The main common story of the villains is that they think that they know more than everybody else, when it turns out they don't. They're just selfish.
I mean, on the other hand, in the M. Night Shyamalan context, I suppose I could easily be a quote-unquote mastermind.
Rhaegar is going to
What a
change his
twist!
avatar. I don't know. Rhaegar is changing his avatar, I guess, now? Because of Zach? Or because of the you don't want to be a political anymore?
What did I do?
I don't know. Well, he says...
Oh, no, wait, is he talking about on Twitter? Because I did change my avatar.
I don't know.
I mean,
He says, we all know why Zach likes that Doom story, ... And then his next comment is, oh, I'm going to have to change my avatars now.
Oh no, MK. One of the things that I keep consistent is all versions of me have a disability of some description.
He's doing that because it's Doom wearing the white hood. Low blow, Rhaegar. Try better.
I'm still shocked that you don't have Moon Knight up there. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable for a guy to wear a hood. It's Moon Knight.
I like Jay Garrick.
Do you? How much? Is he your favorite character of all comic books?
He's up there.
Who's your favorite? You can only have one. You have 5 seconds.
Sorry about that. My mic was on mute. I don't know what happened there. No, if I only have one, it's Ben Grimm, the Thing.
So you're still Maranya stick?
No, Maranius is Iron Man.
I don't know. Lately, she likes Ben Grimm a lot, so it's hard to tell.
She reads Ben Grimm a lot. That doesn't mean she's necessarily a number one, like a fan of him in the comics. Like if you ask Maranya, you only get one comic book hero to be a fan of. She's gonna say Iron Man.
Yeah, there are many versions of me doing that in various universes. MK. In fact, we've been working on a version of me in the Marvel universe and in the Marvel role-playing game we do every week for quite a while now.
Rhaegar, we're never in your circle. We prefer not to be in your loop. You stay in your own loop, and you don't cross the loops.
Just like you don't cross the streams.
No. Speaking of streams, Zach and I will be leaving in 20 minutes, so we'll have to go over to Action Comics. We're doing our Monday night usual stream we do. We'll talk about Ultimate Spider-Man and the latest issue of Transformers. So
if LK can be found and procured, we can do some bad comic beating down after they go.
I don't know where LK is. Is he watching
sports?
I'm
not sure. I'm not sure where.
There's a sports game tonight. That might be why Breen's not here.
Well, Breen doesn't show up on Monday nights really, unless
he said he was going to be here.
Breen was here a little bit ago, but yeah, unless I can find a conversation partner to beat bad down comics with,
well, what's his name?
Then
said that
we'll be ending whenever they leave, I suppose.
Yeah, because E said that he doesn't want any more bad beatdowns right now.
Oh,
I think he wants to be involved in one.
I think it's just that me and LK have been doing so many of them that he has a backlog of streams to edit.
You had like 3 hours the other day, didn't you? On Friday?
Yeah, we did I think 3 yesterday, and then it was 3 or 4 the time before that. So yeah, he's got seven or so bad comic beatdowns. Although in fairness, one of them is a good comic slurp down because I think it was Undead Quinn, or maybe Underworld Dream. But one of them said that Ghost Rider number 21 did Doctor Strange dirty, and then I read it and didn't find it to have done so. So it ended up being a good review rather than a bad one, kind of by accident.
Maybe art-wise?
No, the art was fine, and the storytelling was serviceable. I mean, it wasn't anything like superb to write home about or anything, but given that the current standard is so low that basic competency looks like an Oscar-worthy or an Eisner-worthy phenomenon.
So you're saying the art was better than the Captain Marvel version?
Oh god,
like 15 years old. They're asking, is that menorah behind you?
No. Well, I mean, it's a candelabra, but it's got more than however many a menorah is supposed to have. It's also made of cast iron.
You know, it'd be really cool. One of these times you just turn your camera and you see a giant gong right there. It's like, oh, it has a gong in his room.
I mean, I have a bunch of cool antique type things, but my room is too dirty to do one of those shelf tour videos.
I hear you. I've got two giant totes of this clothes because I don't have a dresser to the left of me. So
yeah.
All right. Any more questions at all, guys? Now is your time to ask. Yeah. Well, E's not here. There's no censorship. You can talk what you want to talk about.
Topics or modes of discussion from anyone. Although be aware that if you ask me something that's totally off the wall and random, and then I wax lyrical about it, and E eventually sees this, it wasn't my fault.
What's your thoughts on cheese? Just joking, honestly.
Thoughts on cheese. I'm kind of basic when it comes to cheese. I like mozzarella the best. Although it might also just be that I haven't been exposed to too many cheeses, because generally when I try a new cheese, I tend to like it. Brie is supposedly really good, but I've never had it. And
Gouda's really good.
And I love smoked Gouda. I can tell you that already because I literally just ate a whole box of smoked Gouda Triscuits like not half an hour before the stream started. But yeah, because I live basically in the middle of nowhere, like I am out in the metaphoric boonies of northern Pennsylvania, we don't really have a wide market when it comes to exotic foods. Even though that would make me happy.
I'm in the dairy state and the cheese capital, so there's like a whole entire section just cheese in the
well, yeah, you're a Wisconsin dude.
I avoid that section because I'll describe
stereotypes.
Well, no, I make a craft single. That's all I need. I don't need all the authentic,
And now the entire state of Wisconsin is gunning for Venkman. R.I.P. Venkman.
Like people were crazy. Like when I was last year or the year before, they found, oh my gosh, Wisconsin has this large, freezer section full of pizzas. What do you think we would have?
They're the cheese capital of the country. What do you think? What do you expect them to do with it?
Like they're surprised because I couldn't believe a whole freezer section just different pizzas out. I'm like, I'm between Milwaukee and Chicago. We're gonna have a whole bunch, it's the way it is, Plus, when they're plus a lot of them, there's except it comes back. There's a huge selection, so you never get bored.
Maranya is asking you what your favorite statue in your collection is.
I was trying to think because I have a lot that I like. I mean, I do like it. I have the Doctor Doom. I have the Black Cat with the vault with Spider-Man's face on it. Doc Ock, Spider-Man, Carnage, Spider-Gwen. You can't really see it, but I have Electro there, Mysterio. And then I have Batman 8 series. Then I have Harley Quinn, another Rogue statue I got. Then there's a Green Goblin, Psylocke. And then Frank Miller, Batman, then Gambit, and then Savage Land and Rogue. Like, there's so many, like, I can't really choose one. Usually if I'm getting a statue because I like it.
The only explicitly comic oriented statue I have is a statue of Gaiman's Sandman. I believe it's the 10th anniversary statue. But I have a lot of statues. They just happen to be more esoteric in nature. Like last year, this last Christmas, I got a statue of Queen Mab, which I put specifically on my fairy shelf because I organized my magic books based on subjects, and so I have an entire shelf full of grimoires that are specifically about fairies, and that's where I put the Queen Mab statue. I also got a statue of a Japanese Baku for Christmas last year.
If I had to choose one, it'd be Mysterio. I just love its old school Mysterio. So
I want to get a statue of Dr. Fate from the Black Adam movie, but I found it like literally the day before Christmas, and so I couldn't really add it to my Christmas list. So next time I get money, I'm gonna have to get the DC Direct Dr. Fate statue and add it to my collection of things.
Well, I'm also running a room. The statues are like $50 a piece, except for the Green Goblin, which is a huge one. That was like 125. I did get a new statue. It was actually Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, where he's doing the fire breathing technique, and you see the flames behind him.
The reason I don't have a version of Fate's helmet, MK, is because most of the time when you see people selling versions of Fate's helmet, they're plastic, and I would really rather have a metal one. Like if I won the lottery and had FU money, I would commission someone to make me a brass version of the helmet of Fate. But I don't have FU money. As I said, I'm in the boonies of northern Pennsylvania, and so I basically have to reserve my antique collecting to whenever I have money and or when it's my birthday or Christmas.
I remember like 5 years ago, one of the stores I go to, the comic shops, they're broken into for New Year's. Somebody broke into New Year's Eve, broke into the shop, took a hammer, smashed in there. What did they grab? The Beta Ray Bill hammer, the golden hammer. They stole it, and the only reason they got him the next day because he bragged to his friends that, oh, look what I got, and they're like, dude, that was a stolen. And they knew right away that was stolen from over there. It's like, what an idiots. But it was a life-size hammer too. Like it was like the gold and stuff. I was like, that's pretty cool. I'd love to have a prop hammer. That Thor had. Kind of like that is from the movie. I could buy one when I go down to the Bristol Renaissance Fair. There's people that look actually the metal workers. They make replicas, but they're like so expensive. I don't want to drop $200 on something. If you're making me a freaking hammer, I want to be able to swing that thing and not be able to worry about cracking. I don't want I want an actual one that actually is like block.
Yeah. With regards to your comments, Samuel Proctor, the reason I wouldn't want a gold one is because, and maybe this is just a me thing, but I think that brass actually looks nicer than gold in most circumstances. Not to mention it would be like 10 factors cheaper than a solid gold one.
Get the Magneto helmet. That's kind of cool too, like that.
Yeah, but to get a Magneto helmet that was actually comics accurate, it would have to be lead lined, and I actually have a phobia of lead because of what lead poisoning can do. So yeah, that is one of my phobias. I don't like mercury or lead. That like heavy metal poisoning is a
if it looks like it is on the outside and has foam on the inside, doesn't freaking hurt my head, I'll wear that. Or the original Ant-Man helmet. That'd be kind of cool too. But all right, but we gotta take off. At least I'm gonna take off. Zach, if you're just gonna stay here a little longer, if you can. But
I'm gonna go ahead.
Get ready.
Get ready. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless someone else wants to jump in and be a conversation partner for me, I think that's probably where we're gonna end it. Because when I get left alone, especially at times like this when we're just talking about random stuff, I tend to get more into the philosophical weeds than E prefers. So let's not make E upset.
Oh, it's like Crafts. He's offended because I like America Craft Singles.
Again, like I said, E or Venkman has officially pissed off the entire state of Wisconsin. I expect he will be expecting an angry mob the second someone else from Wisconsin sees this.
I don't drink Spotted Cow. If I drink beer, it's High Life or Miller Genuine Draft.
Venkman is about to be haunted by the Wisconsin Dairy King from Danny Phantom. This is now nigh inevitable.
The fact that's even a thing is disturbing.
You don't remember the Wisconsin Dairy King from Danny Phantom? Shame on you, sir.
I did not read or watch Danny Phantom stuff.
That was a cartoon.
You sir are missing out, especially as a person from Wisconsin. There are a lot of references to Wisconsin culture in Danny Phantom.
I'd rather watch Gravity Falls again.
Watch Danny Phantom too, though. Danny Phantom's cool. actually this last year got the complete series on DVD for Christmas. It was one of the things I got for Christmas.
Maybe I'll take a stab at it after I'm done with Rurouni Kenshin. I've been going through
honestly, and I keep trying to get Eglantine into Gargoyles, but if you haven't seen Gargoyles yet, watch Gargoyles because it's awesome.
Watch Gargoyles, back in the day.
That show was so good.
If it's anything like if it's anything like because I can't remember. I haven't watched it in like 30 years, dude. I was, I read the comic book that came out that was written by the creator of Gargoyles, and it was dry.
Which speaking of recent news thing, Dynamite is actually going to be reprinting, or is planning on reprinting. They're doing a Kickstarter right now to reprint trades and omnibuses of the entire run of Gargoyles comics.
That's cool.
And I'm really looking forward to it because I like getting nice hardcover omnibuses of comics in general, but Gargoyles was freaking amazing, man.
Speaking of nice trades, wait till Mark Miller's all his books are coming out on trade at Dark Horse. Picking those up.
Yes, Maranya, this probably will be a 40-minute goodbye.
All right, so we're gonna end the stream. I'll hit the button right here. If you guys have any questions, comments, and concerns, direct them to Eglantine, who actually owns this channel, because I don't give a shit.
Although please don't say anything to him that will cause him to be upset with me.
Yes. I specifically hope he hears my comment about me only liking Kraft single cheese, and I gets triggered by that.
Yeah, the entire state of Wisconsin is gonna lynch you for that,
No, that's a Southern thing. They don't do that here.
You insulted the cheese of Wisconsin. I want to lynch you just by proxy, and I'm all the way over in Pennsylvania.
All right. Good night, guys. Hope you had fun, and let's check out the top 5 tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central. But if you can, follow us over to Ash on Comics starting in a few minutes.
Yeah, and tomorrow we are starting the Marvel RPG Season 5. And Wednesday at 5:30 Central, you can find me and Mr. E2099 on the channel The Duality of Man.
Cheers, guys.
Later, everybody.
Cheers, guys.